Then you call in, and then what I'll do is I'll put you on hold, call Mrs. P, and she's interested. I know.
So yeah, we'll call that you want me to call you first?
I want you to call into the line. I'll put you on hold.
But they're cheaper than Harley Davidson trucks. Harley Davidson trucks are like $35,000. It is. That's too much. Mine's over $10,000. I like the Harley better, but I wasn't going to spend that kind of money. Unless I was retired, I was going to drive it every day.
I do not.
I ride everywhere I can when I mean, if it's not raining, I ride it to work. My wife doesn't like it. All the better. It's for contemplation. She likes the bigger the truck, the better. She'd like to drive around in a big air. Can you take a picture with Mayor Washington? Mayor, can I get a picture with you? That'd be an honor. I don't. One, two. One more. This is my thing. Hold. Oh, yeah. Might as well hear
All right, here we go, everybody. Very good.
Gracias. Oh, you should have it already. Okay, gracias.
Terry Palmer. Yes, she's
That's what they told me, put her in the audience. And I had her over there by Tammy, but they moved her. Yeah, welcome her. Where is Irma? Irma Jean, come sit down. I don't think so. No, don't open that yet. Shut that drawer. I'm ready. We're 10 minutes late now. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call the May 21st, 2015 meeting of the Tarrant County Board of Trustees to order, and I welcome all of you. Many exciting things tonight, a lot of business to conduct as well. To begin, we want to honor the service of Trustee Robyn Medina Winnett, who sought not to run again. And we have a certificate of appreciation I would like to read into the record, and it will be presented to her. Certificate of appreciation presented to Mrs. Robyn Medina Winnett by the Tarrant County College Board of Trustees in recognition of your many years of service to the Tarrant County College District and the citizens of Tarrant County, and in appreciation of your unwavering support for the pursuit of student success. May 27th, 2015, signed by Louise Appleman, President, and O.K. Carter, Secretary. And now, a new beginning.
Before you go,
Yes.
Mrs. Appleman, to the next place, I want to take the opportunity to thank Mrs. Winnett on the record on behalf of the, it says it's on, but,
Get a little closer
I got to get it closer to me. Thank you. Now you can hear me. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of all of us at Tarrant County College, the over 100,000 students that we served last year and the year before that, as well as our entire faculty and staff for the service that she has given to us here at TCC. We will make sure that she gets this certificate of appreciation from the board, and we are very pleased to have had her service for since 19, I have it somewhere, a number of years of service that she's given to this board. I don't know what the number is. I did know, and now I don't. 13. Mr. Carter, as our secretary, you can confirm that it's been 13 years, and it doesn't say on this certificate, but I believe it's been 13 years of service that she has given to Tarrant County College and the people of Tarrant County, so I want to appreciate her as well.
Any other comments from the board? Then we will proceed, and as I said earlier, we have new beginnings, and we have 3 trustees to be sworn in this evening. We will start with District 1, Teresa Terry Ayala. And Terry, if you will come forward and introduce your officer. Angela, would you turn that microphone? Terry, come stand in front of it. Sure. And would you like to introduce
Yes,
Council?
I'd like to introduce my dear friend, Mayor Pro Tem Councilman Salvador Espino. Thank you very much, Sal.
Miss Ayala, back up just a little bit so both of you are in.
Right here. The mic, can everyone
Can you
hear?
hear us okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Raise your right hand
Here's my right hand. I'm confused, which is my right hand?
and repeat after me.
The other right hand,
Let me
right?
with a pen so I can read it logistically. All right, ready?
I,
Teresa Ayala,
Teresa Ayala,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of College Trustee
the duties of the office of College Trustee
for Tarrant County College of the State of Texas,
for Tarrant County College of the State of Texas,
and will,
and will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect,
protect,
and defend
and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
All right.
Thank you very much, Sal.
Let me sign this.
Thank you.
Councilman Spina, there are 2 copies if you would sign both copies. And by the way, congratulations on your reelection to the Fort Worth City Council.
Thank you.
And just hand it back to Terry, if you'll take that to your place, and we'll gather them later. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Congratulations again. Take a photo with
Thank you. Yes, gotta get a photo.
you for the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please take your seat, and
Thank you very much. Thank you.
we welcome you, and we look forward to working with you towards student success.
Thank you.
And now our second trustee to be installed is Kristen Vandergriff, and she will introduce her officer.
Good evening. Is this, okay. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you the Mayor of Arlington, Jeff Williams. And I just am very honored that he's here. I will tell you that in 2002, my father-in-law, Judge Vandergriff, swore me in. And then in 2008, Judge Forbes. And I just thought, knowing Jeff for as many years as I've known him, he will fill these great shoes. And it becomes a really lovely legacy for me. But more importantly, he'll do great things for Arlington, and he'll do even better things for Tarrant County College District. So I hope you enjoy getting to know him as much as I have for the last 25 plus years. So welcome, Mayor Jeff Williams.
Well, needless to say, I'm honored, and of course, there's no pressure now, is there? Well, let's first raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kristen Vandergriff,
I, Kristen Vandergriff,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of College Trustee
the duties of the office of College Trustee
for Tarrant County College
for Tarrant County College
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God. Thank
Kristen,
you.
congratulations. You're awesome.
I guess you have to sign. Do I sign this? Oh, I guess not. I'm official.
Thank you, Mayor Williams, and congratulations to you. And Mayor Williams has agreed to cross city lines and swear in Mr. Heed.
I am double honored. Double honored.
To further cement our relationship with the new mayor of Arlington, I appreciate this.
Thank you, Conrad. Well, let's raise our right hand and repeat after me. I, Conrad C. Heed,
I, Conrad C. Heed,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office of College Trustee
the duties of Office of College Trustee
for Tarrant County
for
College
Tarrant County College
of the State of
of the
Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations,
Yes.
Contract.
I wonder if I should skip to public comment from, or do we need to do the election? Yeah, okay.
Well, in closing my part, I just want to say we're looking so forward to continuing the work here with the district. And then, as Trustee Vandergriff has explained to me, you have much more than just the Southeast Campus here. So I'm looking forward to learning much more. Bill?
Thank you.
Mayor Williams, Mayor Williams, again, we're so pleased to have you with us. And as I told you as well, this entire county belongs to you. And we're counting on you for all the support that we know you will give us. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Chancellor. Appreciate it greatly.
Thank you.
We will take just a 2-minute break in case some of our guests would like to leave. We appreciate you being here. You're welcome to stay. We do have a budget workshop prior to our business meeting, so we'll be here for a while, and you can leave at any time. But if you'd like to leave at this time, we'll cover our eyes and let you slip out.
Ms. Ayala, would you like...
And my sister Dolores, are two of my favorite teachers. My sister-in-law Norma Ayala, my niece Natalie Ayala Williams. There's Catherine, my niece Catherine Ayala, and there's Valerie Ayala. They're educators. Some of these are educators as well. My son Riley Michael Ayala Bruton. He just passed to the 3rd grade today.
Oh, wow.
My husband and my rock there, Charles Bruton. My compadre, Randall Harwood, back there. My very close cousin and my campaign treasurer, Carlos Flores. And let's see, my sister, there's Dolores. Rosa Navajar is also here. Robert Fernandez and Charles Reed. This is my niece, Marissa Rios Carrera, and my other niece, Elisa Ayala Rios. And did I miss anybody? I hope I didn't miss anybody in the family. No, this isn't all of it. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming. I really appreciate it. It means so much. Thank you. And Councilman Espino, I don't know if he had to leave, but I wanted to thank you again. Thank you. Thanks.
Do you want to take a group picture of your family and up here? And
Yes,
yeah,
come on
yeah.
up.
Why don't you come up? Yeah, we got.
Thank you, Mr. Greenhill.
Oh yeah, I mean, a groupie. And also, I've been told that Mother went door to door during the campaign. She was one of the serious campaigners.
Back here.
Behind. Do you want us to move, or you want us to stay?
We can stay, Miss Vanderveer. We can just stay.
Oh, get in front of the dais.
Some might want to get.
Come on, right here in the middle. I'm sorry. Someone right here.
If they're in front of the desk, can you see everybody?
Absolutely, now
Or
that
back here
you're
better?
a politician's mother, you have to. Oh, you want us to leave, or what are you saying?
Terry, do you want us in the picture?
Okay. Sorry about that, We got one more change. We think we can get a much better photo of you in front.
And Suzanne's control is telling everybody to squeeze close.
And just follow the instructions of the photographer.
We won't photobomb your picture.
And so y'all, you try to get as center as you can.
Why is Randall here? Are you a friend of hers?
He's a throw-in family member, right, Randall?
Is that right? Well, nice to have you here. Thank you. You know Randall? He's with the city. And he and I work together on the facility contracts. And he's still nice to me.
Yeah, it rained this morning, but it didn't rain all day.
Sounds like it's all wrapped up.
How are you, sir? I'm Kristen. It's nice
Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I know Teresa appreciated it.
I'm Ronnie's godfather.
Oh, okay, the Godfather. You renounced the devil and all his works.
I love your wit. Reginald.
You're on your own now, Terry.
The podium. Catty corner, you know where I always stand, catty corner, so I can look at the board in the audience.
You know, when I talked to Mr. Yala earlier, she said she was still trying to figure out who these 16 people in her precinct were that didn't vote for her.
Her mom didn't get to their
They are
homes.
rogue Republicans, probably.
Bunch of comments.
That's so special. It's just great.
Thank you very much for letting me take the picture with the family. Thank you.
Our next order of business is election of board officers. So I would open the floor first for the position of president.
I would like
Mrs.
to,
Appleman?
I would like to nominate OK Carter to be president of the board.
Okay, Mr. Carter, Ms. Dr. Morrison.
I would like to nominate Louise Appleman for
Thank
president of the board.
Are there other nominations? All those hands in favor of Mr. Carter, please. 3. And in favor of Mrs. Appleman, 4. Thank you. And the floor is now open for nominations for vice president.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Heed for vice president.
Mr. Heed, any other nominations? All those,
Excuse me. Okay, Carter.
Mr. Carter. All right, so we have 2 nominations.
Well,
Did you hear that?
I did.
Okay. So hands in favor of Mr. Heed, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for Mr. Carter, 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, Mr. Heed. The office of secretary.
I'd like to nominate OK Carter for secretary.
I would like to nominate Bill Greenhill for secretary.
Okay.
oh,
Hands in favor of Mr. Carter, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for Mr. Greenhill? Mr. Greenhill, you want to vote for yourself?
oh, sure.
Sure, okay. I'm sorry, you lose. But thank you. Assistant Secretary.
I would like to nominate Bill Greenhill for.
Bill Greenhill for Assistant
I will
Secretary.
move to him.
Any other nominations?
Acclamation, please.
All those in favor of Mr. Greenhill by acclamation, please say aye. Aye. All right, congratulations.
All right, congratulations, everybody.
Look forward to working together. We do have some public comments slated, starting with Dr. Elva LeBlanc, President of the Northwest Campus.
Excuse me. Could I ask you a quick question?
Okay, please.
Do we not have to swear in?
Good evening, Mrs. Hadley and Mrs. Appleman, board members, and congratulations on your election. This is very exciting, and we're all very happy, truly. So we were blessed with some really outstanding students. We have great students every year, but this year has been exceptional. And two of the campuses, Northwest and Southeast, had students that received the Jack Kent Cook Scholarship, which is up to $40,000 a year for the last 2 years toward the bachelor degree. And I'm very pleased to introduce the Northwest Campus recipient, and his name is Ismael Castañeda. And if he would come forward, please. I'm really proud of Ismael. He's very modest, so I will say he is a cornerstone student and also Phi Theta Kappa student. He came to us from Eagle Mountain, Saginaw ISD, and I'd like for him to just say a few words.
Hi, thank you for having me, and this award is a big blessing. And first off, I want to say that I couldn't have done it without the support that I've received from the campus that I go to, but also the other campuses as well, as I'm a part of the Men of Color Mentoring Program. Right. And since that is a district-wide, or is it a multi-campus program, each campus has really put in part for the success that I've reached. And another thing that I would like to be thankful for is also the departments in the campus that I go to, such as the academic advising and counseling department. Some of the people in there are also my mentors for the Men of Color Mentoring Program. So they've made their way to put in an extra effort for me to be focused more in my school and apply to scholarships and all those other neat things. The Writing Lab Center in the library, the Student Activity Center, just all those different types of departments that the school has. But all in all, I'm just very thankful of every single faculty and staff that's put in their part for me to receive this scholarship. So thank you.
What he didn't tell you is that he also earned other scholarships and plans to go to UT Austin, Mrs. Appleman. I thought that would make you happy. So. And yes, and Mr. Greenhill, sorry. 2 important places. So thank you very much.
Thank you for bringing him to us, and congratulations on behalf of the board. We are very proud of you. Dr. Capola.
Yes, sir.
Did you have to pay for all those?
Thank you.
To do it, or? Yes, okay.
What page are we looking at, Bill?
Okay. Second, everybody go to page 2. Yeah.
Ms. Hadley, President Appleman, members of the board, and Ms. Aiello. On behalf of the Celt, which is the first two rows we have here, which you'll get to know us very well, we want to truly welcome you to Tarrant County College and being a member of this wonderful and outstanding board. So congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I am also here pleased to announce some of the great students that we have in our district and some from Southeast Campus that recently won some major awards. Pelkins, are you here, guys? Oh, there they are. Okay, let me see you. Pelkins Ayano was named the Gus White Scholar. And the Gus White Scholars are chosen based on academic achievement, leadership, accomplishments, and engagement in Phi Theta Kappa programs. He is only one of 15 recipients in the United States out of 1,700 applicants with a $5,000 award. It's the second highest award given by Phi Theta Kappa. I'm going to talk about him, then have him come up and talk. Holamo, you can stand here anyway. It's okay. Halalo Cibrian was named the 2015 New Century Scholar by the USA Community College Academic Team. There is one scholar selected from each state, and the student that was selected from the state of Texas, from the Southeast Campus, Holama, with a $2,500 scholarship. You go, woo, woo. Yes. And now, in your newspaper, you have here, a great honor is the All-USA Community College Academic Team. They recognize high-achieving two-year college students who demonstrate academic excellence and intellectual rigor combined with leadership and service that extends their education beyond the classroom to benefit society. There were only 20 students selected from 1,700 applicants nationwide, and only 2 were selected from the state of Texas, and both were selected from the Southeast Campus. Wow. That was Holamo Sirian and Karen Meacham. Each were awarded $5,000. And last but not least, as Dr. LeBlanc said, the Jack Kent Cook Foundation Award was also awarded to Karen Meacham. The foundation provides up to $40,000 a year, and approximately 85 deserving students selected annually make it the largest private scholarship for two-year and community college transfer students in the country. Selection is based on achievement in academic ability, financial need, persistence, leadership, and desire to help others. I am very proud of the 3 of them, and I'm very proud of all the students and the staff for supporting them within this district and at the Southeast Campus. So at this time, I am going to ask the 3 of them to say a very short few words, because I told them right before this they had to talk. They didn't know that. They thought they were just going to do this. And then I want to ask Tina Sandoval, the president of Phi Theta Kappa, to just show you one of the national awards that we won at the Phi Theta Kappa Institute.
Thank you very much, Dr. Coppola. My name is Pelkins Ejano. First, distinguished board and honored Chancellor, I'd like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to express my gratitude for all the unparalleled opportunity I got from Tarrant County College. Coming from Africa, specifically from Cameroon, I had this drive to express academic excellence, but I was limited in the resources I had in my country. But while at Tarrant County College, I just had amazing opportunity. I had a wonderful president to work with. I had wonderful advisors too who kept mentoring me and helping me to achieve my goals. And I'm very grateful it ended up with me getting this distinction as one of the 15 students selected as the Gus White Scholars. And I would like to say that would not have been possible without the help from Tarrant County College. We have wonderful departments. Initially, when I came from Cameroon, I would like to admit I didn't have in mind to go to Tarrant County College. But I mean, it would have been a very big mistake not attending Tarrant County College looking back. I'd like to quote from someone I really admire, Steve Jobs. He said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards." Looking backwards, I'm very grateful for the choice I made to attend Tarrant County College, and I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for the wonderful opportunity which you give the students of the United States of America. Thank you all.
Oh. Wow.
Hello, Ms. Hatley, Prestigious Board. My name is Joel Musibrian. I was born and raised in El Salvador, and basically I came here when I was 14 years old. Now I live in Dallas. So after I graduated from high school, I was a little not self-assured of what I was going to do with my future life. So I decided to take a break, a short break, 1.5 years, And then I didn't have no one or basically no one to guide me on how to apply for college. So I started researching and asking people questions, and I ended up visiting a few campuses in the Dallas County area, but I didn't like any of them, basically. It was just my preference, and somehow I ended up at Southeast Campus. And I am truly blessed. I believe God put me there for a reason. I got the support from amazing advisors, and now my mentor, Ms. Shauna Gaceta, Jerry Coates, and Dr. Coppola. These are wonderful people in my life now. They have become like my family. I truly love them, and if it wasn't because of them, I would never have grown to the person I am today. I have learned so many things at Tarrant County, and especially one, that as your logo says, success is within reach. And I truly believe success is within reach now, that I have just recently received my associate awards. And now all these awards, come on, success is within reach at Tarrant County College. So it's amazing, and I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate all your support, all what you do for the students. It's really a blessing. Thank you.
I'll keep this short and sweet. Distinguished board members, honored Chancellor, I stand before you a proud graduate of Tarrant County College. Just graduated with Associate of Applied Science in Dietetics. With your support and dedication and the support of Dr. Coppola and all of his wonderful staff and faculty, I've been awarded many accolades, some of them mentioned by Dr. Coppola. And I want to thank you for everything you do for your students, because what you do in supporting this system, the Tarrant County College system, and all of the campuses, that's what makes achieving our dreams possible. And without you, we couldn't do that. So thank you very much.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Chancellor Hadley. I would like to present to you one of the international awards that we won was the Distinguished Honors in Action project that we did, and also the Texas We Are, one of the top chapters for the Texas region. And these are just a few, but I know we don't have that much time to show off all the others, but I would like to thank you for all the support that you give us. It's really amazing to be part of Tarrant County College. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on down and get a picture.
Yeah, we need
Finish.
a picture. There you go.
We knew 2 months before, and we weren't allowed to say anything and keep it a secret, right, guys? For 2 months, because USA had it publicized in their paper, and this paper came out the morning that the award was given. So that's the first time the nation. Okay, you want to get behind you?
No, stand here.
While you're coming,
Okay, who's old enough in the room to know the remember the song? Put your right foot in, you take your right foot out, you put your right foot in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey-pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Hokey-pokey. This is what it's all about. Congratulations to all of you. We are so very, very proud of you. Very, very proud.
the Chancellor wants to get in the picture and take credit for this.
Absolutely.
My most humiliating gift was ACCT. Oh, I don't care. Yeah, that's so Well, it really did hurt my feelings. No, because those people were pros.
Well, congratulations, all of you. Where you going? Texas Wesleyan. And where you going? Texas Woman. Oh, boy, how fortunate. And where you going? UT Arlington. Very good, very good. Well, we're so proud of all of you.
Thank you.
What a pleasure. Are there any other public comments, Mr. Gates? All right, then we'll move on into the board budget workshop, and you're on.
Yes, ma'am. You know, faculty members, you hear me say all the time that what works for our students is the magic that you play in the classrooms. And all of this wonderful support that we have for our students gets finally played out when the students get to you. So I want to give you all a great honor and appreciation for having brought these students to where they are today. So thank you. And whenever I witness things like this here at TCC, I'm always so torn. Do I want to cry or do I want to do the hokey pokey? My general spirit is to do the hokey pokey. I don't cry very well, so I like doing the hokey pokey. But we are just so proud of all these students and so many, many, many others who do so well. It was such a great, prideful day for us a couple of weeks ago as we watched so many of our students in the math competition awards that's sponsored by the foundation the other day. And some of those students walked off with huge scholarships as well to go to area universities. Texas Christian University normally is the one that gives the most money to our students, and that was the case this year as well. And the interesting thing about it, we follow those students, many of our students, and they go on to finish their baccalaureate degrees, Mrs. Ayala, and then to get masters, and the ones at TCU generally go on to get a PhD. So it's just absolutely awesome when they get their start right here. It was so truly amazing and good to hear the young man say, I made the right decision by coming to Tarrant County College. So that's just wonderful. So thank you, presidents, and all of our other CELT members, too, for the roles you play, because you are the guiding light, not just for our students, but for your staff and your faculty as well. It truly is a team effort. It takes all of our working together to make this work very well for us. So now, I was just hoping you would not tell people they could leave, Mrs. Appleman. I thought I had a captive audience. And I was going to get to talk about this budget with all of these wonderful citizens in the room. And then you gave them permission to leave, and I thought, you know? But anyway, Mr., what's your husband's last name?
Bruton.
Mr. Bruton is here, and you can carry the word back to that big Ayala clan. and tell them what a wonderful job I did tonight on presenting the budget, okay? You promise. And your son's name is?
Riley.
Riley, you help your dad carry the good word back, okay? Carry it back to grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles and all those. Well, we have a fairly short presentation to make to you this evening, and then we'll save time for your questions and comments that you want to make. And remember, this is budget workshop number 2, and so you don't have a lot of specific information here, just general information for you to chew on and think about as we move forward in building our budget. Looking at access, excellence, innovation, creativity, all to help our students see that success really is within reach. And that's really what it's all about. I can remember so well, I guess when I did my very first budget presentation, maybe it was the second one, and I had a lot of information that I was going to give to you. And Mark McClendon, who's our CFO, came to me and said, you know, Chancellor, you really ought to change the way you're going to do that. And I said, why? He said, because you need to really tell the story of what TCC is all about. I credit you, Mark, for recommending that to me. And yesterday, as I sat through the Tarrant County College Foundation retreat, and what did we have, Joe, yesterday? Retreat, yes. Looking at our next path, the next 2 years, the next 5 years, the next whatever. And I started to tell the TCC story, which is what I do everywhere I go. And I find myself all the time having to pinch myself to say, stop, that's enough. People can only absorb so much. Because we do have such wonderful stories to tell here at Tarrant County College. And board members, I know that you are very proud to tell those stories as well. I was with Mrs. Vandergrift somewhere. I don't know where it was it yesterday? And somebody asked a question, before I could answer it, she was answering it, you know, going on about what it is we do. And all of you do that, and I know that, and that's very, very good. Next one, please. The first thing on the here is the agenda, the legislative update, tuition, salary and benefits, tax rate, and CALT budget request. So on the legislative update, Reginald Gates is our legislative liaison. He keeps up with everything that's going on in Austin that would affect our operations. And altogether, this session, I believe we had a little over 40 bills that we were tracking that dealt with community colleges throughout the state. And Mrs. Ayala, for your information, we have an excellent state organization that's called the Texas Association of Community Colleges, and it's made up of the CEOs of all 50. We have 50 community college districts in the state. And all of us take that organization very, very seriously. Hardly anybody ever misses a meeting. We meet quarterly. And when someone has to miss a meeting, they always make sure someone else from the college is there to participate and bring back information. Budget decisions, as you will not be surprised to hear, have not been made yet. However, much of the discussions continues in the Senate and the House. And of course, once they are finished in the Senate and they are finished in the House, they'll go to the conference committees to work out their differences. You know that part of what's going on now, of course, is the amount of tax relief that the legislature is looking to give to all of the citizens. One of the things we were watching very closely and we were really hoping would pass, we don't know yet if it will, and that's common course numbering. We've done a lot of good things to help our students in this state by having a common, not a common, but a core curriculum that is approved by the Higher Education Coordinating Board. Every public institution in Texas has to have a core curriculum that we send down to the coordinating board and they approve it, whether we're a community college or a university or a four-year college. We have to do that. The law says that once a student has completed that core curriculum, every state-supported institution has to accept it in total. So when I was visiting with Mayor Williams earlier in my office, we were talking about that, and he said, that's such a great thing. When I went to school, we had to be so concerned about what the college was, or the university was going to accept from where we had been before and what they were not going to accept. So we have that down. The problem, however, still exists to some extent in that some institutions will say, if we are offering an engineering course, say that's $16.35, and the university where the student goes may say, well, that's fine, but it doesn't match our course. The course that we offer for this is very different. You're going to have to retake this course. If you can get to common course numbering, where everybody has the same number of that engineering course, then any institution would have to accept that. And that's what the fight is about in the legislature. As you might guess, it isn't something that's wholly endorsed by the universities in some cases. Some universities are fine with it, and many of them are not. So the Senate version of that bill has been in the Higher Education Committee, but has never received a hearing. And you know how that goes. If you don't get a hearing, you don't get out of that committee. The next one is the campus carry. And of course, that was scheduled for a debate today. And I don't know whether that really happened today in the full Senate or not. You know, one of the things that we were really pushing for was to get the House and the Senate to agree that if they were going to pass campus carry, they would exempt community colleges. They have already agreed in the language to exempt private colleges and universities. And so we are asking them to exempt community colleges as well from allowing the students to bring their guns openly on our campuses. Doesn't look like it's going to work. We don't know, but so that's still open. The next item is success points and formula funding that will end up pretty much the way it is this year. The only adjustment to the funding level was for the updated contact hours and success points, and that's a very small amount. But it did result in a net increase to us of $12.2 million over the House version bill. That came out of the Senate. Normally, when we're down there working with our elected officials, we tend to get a little bit more understanding, I think, or cooperation, or whatever word you want to use there, from the Senate side of the chambers than we do from the House. So the amount that we get recommended from the Senate normally is a little bit more than the House, but we'll see how that works out. Any questions on those major bills that we're following? Any questions from anybody? And by the way, I might add that the Texas Trustees Association, CCAT.
CCAT, yes.
Yes,
Now,
so you want to talk about that,
Well,
Mr. Greenhill?
CCAT is Community College Association of Texas Trustees, and it also is working very hard with this legislative committees and others from various colleges going down to the legislature and testifying. So it's a joint effort. Every college, we're joined with the TACC now, and we're in one organization. So if you're a member of TACC, you're a member of CCATT, and it's the annual meeting is June the 5th, for example. So you might want to go to that. But anyway, that's the story on that. They're working very hard. We're working very hard on that.
And that has proven to be very beneficial. We have the trustees as well as the CEOs of the institution working hand in hand on the same agenda. It's worked very well. And as Mr. Greenhill said, we'll get you information about the next meeting, state meeting of the trustees group, which will be on the Riverwalk in San Antonio. So you certainly might want to go with us and take your family with you if you'd like. Health premiums. Every year, we sound almost like a broken record. Healthcare costs tend to go up a little bit, and you can see this year, if you look all the way over to the right-hand side, the percent of increase is going to be 7% for all groups of employees. Now, you'll recall that the employee pays no part of his or her premium. The member and spouse, of course, the employee pays $330. We'll see what the cost is. The premium is $1,237. The state pays $906. And then, of course, member and children, the state pays $797, leaving $221. Spouses are much more expensive to cover than children are. So their line's a little bit larger. And of course, member and family, $1,600 a month. When you look at premiums like this and you hear the debate that goes on continuously about whether we need universal health care for everybody, or something that the people can count on to give them coverage. You can appreciate why so many people are in such bad shape. I mean, a person with a family trying to pay, if you're working for an organization that doesn't pay insurance, trying to pay $1,600 a month just isn't going to happen. So they tend not to have any coverage at all. And of course, on the other end, if you live in Tarrant County, we pay for it anyway because they have no option except to go to Tarrant County Hospital District, JPS, and get the taxpayer-assisted health care. And so we pay for that anyway. So it's a very interesting thing. The next item on the agenda is tuition. And you'll have an opportunity to decide whether or not you want to increase tuition this year. You increased it 3 years ago by $3. And it was good until this year. As you can see, fall of 2012-13, it was $52 per semester hour. And then for the next 3 years, 12-13, 13-14, and this year, 14-15, it's been at $55. And you'll recall that you earmarked that $3 per credit hour per year to go to helping our facilities people build sticky spaces. Mrs. Ayala, we call them sticky spaces, where we try to make the space in a building very comfortable and very enticing so that students will want to get there and stick for a while. Work with faculty and staff and with other students. Because as you know, there's a lot of research that shows the more you can keep a student engaged on the campus, the more likely that student is to be successful and to stay with us and graduate. During the second year of the tuition rate increase, we asked and the board approved for us to use $1.3 million of that to fund a supplemental instruction program that was designed to help students who needed extra help when they came. We hired, I believe, 10 additional academic advisors, I think that's right, with that $1.3 million, and put those 2 new ones, I believe, on every campus. As we move forward with building our budget, we didn't talk at all about what you were going to do with the $3 in the future, and we may be asking you to allow us to earmark that for some other things that we'll tell you about at the next budget workshop. But if you'll keep that in your mind, I would appreciate it. The next page there shows where we stand with our tuition. And you can see that Mrs. Ayala, in Texas, the Higher Education Coordinating Board divides our institutions by size. And what you're looking up there is called the Big Ten. We're the 10 largest community colleges in the state. And we compare ourselves generally on just the Big Ten because that's a much better comparison than comparing some of the smaller ones. And you can see the tuition ranges all the way from $108 per credit hour at South Texas to $39 at Collin County. Collin County, as you know, is, I think, is still the richest district in Texas. They have a lot of money, and so they put a lot more money into their operations and charge their students less. But you can see also that we rank number 9 of all the Big Ten institutions. That's currently this spring 2015 semester. Next one. Now, that first one you saw was just for in-district students. Out-of-district students, those who live outside of Tarrant County, have to pay a higher amount. And in our case, they pay $86 rather than the $55. But we still rank number 9 there. And in the non-resident tuition, those are the people who come to us who live outside of Texas and come and they don't qualify for residency status. We're higher there, number 3 at $205, again with the lowest being Collin at $138. And finally, we have the next group. No, wasn't there another group? Did I miss one? None out of district. Was that the last one? None, I'm sorry? Undocumented. I'm sorry? Same, okay, same as out of state, thank you. I was thinking of that next section. Okay, so that's where we stand on tuition. And for every dollar that we would increase the tuition, it would gain this many dollars for the district. In district, you would get $827,000 for every dollar you increase. Out of district, you get $67,000. Out of state, you get $19,000. And non-resident, you would gain $8,000. So you can see, raising the tuition at any of those 4 levels other than in district doesn't really make you any money because the students just are not there to bring in any real dollars on that. So you'd have a total of $921,000 for each of the $1 increases that you would have. Salary and benefits. As you know, the vast majority of the money we spend at Tarrant County College goes to salaries and benefits. Currently, if we were to give a salary increase for our employees, it would cost $2.07 million for each 1% increase that we would give. So if you want to know what a 1% increase costs, you can see it's $2 million. 2% would be $4 million, 0.14, 3%, and you could go on and add it that way. That's what we would be looking at. Where's Nancy? I think it does. Yes, sir. That includes benefits. Benefits amount to about 20, what percent? 23? I'm sorry? 30%. Benefits are 30% of the salaries. Okay, next one, please. Tax rate. We're working with the budget as though the tax rate will remain the same. Unless you decide otherwise, it will be still 0.14950, almost 15 cents per $100 evaluation. The debt service, of course, went away. This year we paid our last money that we owed for debt, so we're completely debt-free, Mrs. Ayala. And so there's nothing. It is amazing. It is absolutely, as we were on Southeast Campus today, and I was getting out of the car, and I said to Reginald, this is just absolutely amazing, just really amazing. And when we were out there taking pictures in the front of that beautiful building, and Dr. Coppola and I were talking about it, he said, people look at us, and he was telling me he talked to somebody, and they said he had seen the building, and he said, and it's all paid for. It's all paid for. And they wanted to know, how'd you do that? He said, we just wrote him a check. And Mrs. Ayala, we have 4 early college high schools on our 5 campuses. We're getting ready to open our 5th early college high school on the campus in August. That's south. Our first one was on Northwest. This is our 5th year of operating a Marine Creek Collegiate High School. And this is our 4th year in operating TABS, the Texas Academy of Biomedical Sciences, which is at our Trinity River campus. And we have the TCC, AISD, Arlington ISD Collegiate Academy on our Southeast campus. And did I miss somebody? And then South. Northeast. We have, we opened that one last fall as well on Northeast, and it's partnered with Grapevine Colleyville ISD. So we're moving right along. And South Campus also has an early college high school within Everman ISD that is focused solely on career and technical programs. It's a unique program to us because all of our other early college high schools are on the campus. This one is in their high school. The students take all of their basic courses, the English, the history, whatever they're taking at Everman ISD, and then they are bused over to South Campus for the hands-on experience in the career technical program in which they're working. So it works really well. As we went through our preliminary planning for 15-16, I asked all of the KELP members to give me their needs, and I asked them to be very, very careful about how they looked at what their needs are, and to say that if I don't get this, it's going to be really, really difficult for me to run my operation the way we know we need to run it. So when you see the numbers up here, you won't find any frills at all. And if you look almost halfway down, some of it may look like it's frivolous, but it isn't. But you'll see the Vice Chancellor for Real Estate and Facilities with $49.75 million request. We are operating campuses that are old. South Campus is just finishing 47 years in operation, Northeast 46, Northwest 40. Those are the three oldest campuses. Southeast is still considered new compared to the others, and of course, you feel old, but you're new. And of course, Trinity River campus, you know, is what we would call, if he's new, then Trinity is spanking brand new. So the biggest money that we have to expend to make sure we keep all of our facilities in good shape would be in that $49 million, and would be on those three campuses. Just this week, we had a fire in a, what was it in, Nina? The Northeast campus, fire in one of those older, lightning hit it, okay. But it's one of those older electrical things, and we had to close the campus all day. So we have to do these kinds of things, and people will look at the money you spend and say, oh my goodness, that's so much money. But if you ask facilities people, they will tell you that they probably need about 80,000. That's what they would tell me anyway. Need about 80,000 to really,
80 million.
I'm sorry, 80 million to do what they really would like to do. And while I know that that's true, I also remind them they can't do $80 million in 1 year. So let's just get the most urgent pieces in that. But in the Vice Chancellor for Communications and External Affairs, going back to the top, that's Reginald Gates's area. And the majority of that money, Mr. Greenhill, would be in public relations and marketing. You'll recall asking us to give serious consideration to putting more money in that department. Yesterday, as I was meeting, and Mrs. Vandergriff and Mrs. Appleman were also there as members of the Tarrant County College Foundation Board. And a large part of our discussion was on how can the foundation do a better job of helping us brand the college and market the college, and how could we as the college do a better job of helping them figure out what they need to do. So we talked a lot about that, and one of the things we left with was an agreement that they would like for the foundation to work with us to get a plan that would be comprehensive and that would include all of our working together to make that happen. The Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs and Student Success, that $1.2 million, as you might guess, is primarily for people, but it also has money in there for outsourcing a couple of items. And Dr. Gates Black couldn't be here this evening, so I'm having to remember for her what those were. I'm sorry. I have it right here. Thank you. Let me thank Shelley while I'm looking back, and she's always so great at making sure we have everything we need, and so she's given me my cheat sheets back here. So if I don't remember something, I can go to it. 500,000 of her ask is to outsource advising after hours. You know, we've had that on a small scale, and she's wanting us to scale it up. It has proven to be a very good use of our money. So she's looking at 24/7 outsourcing. 500,000 isn't nearly enough to do what she wants to do, but it's enough for us to try it and see how much closer we can bring that to scale to help our students. As you know, our students have all kinds of needs, and many of them would be up studying. They'll tell you, we have students tell us all the time, you know, I go to work, I get back, I fix dinner, help kids with homework, put them to bed, and then I study. Or I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning when the house is really quiet, and then I study. And it's not likely that they're going to be able to find somebody except through a service like this to help them. And then, of course, the Vice Chancellor for Institutional Intelligence and Technology asking for $1.8 million. And as you know, the technology is very expensive. It costs us a lot of money to invest in it, and it costs us just as much and sometimes more to keep it up to date where we really need to keep it. The biggest item in there is software licensing. Every year you have to pay that. $600,000 of that $1.8 million is for license to operate the software packages that we have throughout our district and all of our centers that we have. The next item on there is for Vice Chancellor for Finance, and he has very little request. He thinks that because his is only $37.7, he ought to get every penny of that. We'll see. And then I've already talked about, that's Mark McClendon's area. And I've talked about real estate and facilities, and that's Nina Petty's area. Angela Robinson, who is the Vice Chancellor for Administration and General Counsel, is only asking for $25,000, and that's just simply an increase in her operating budget. President of the South Campus has $40,000 there, and that's for his early college high school. Each of our campuses has $50,000 to operate the early college high schools. We gave Dr. Jordan only $10,000 last year because he was not fully operational. So we'll add that $40,000 to his budget. We already have the principal. You met the principal last month for the early college high school on South. That person's already in place. President of the Northeast Campus, the requests from Northeast are included in that $49 million. Well, let me say it this way. Requests from all of our campuses, any kind of facilities request will be included in the $49 million. We started doing that some time ago because it's too difficult for us to try to have each area of operation of the college decide what it needs for facilities. They don't know how to figure the cost, and so they might figure one thing, and then there's something else that's needed. You know, you've got the furniture and fixtures, and you've got lots of, in many cases, renovations that have to be made. It may look simple, and then you get in there and start to doing it. If you're on Northeast or South, you may very well run into asbestos, all kind of things. So we put all of those requests in the real estate and facilities area for all of the campuses. The exception would be the Southeast campus has $162,000 for their budget, and that's for, I have to find my cheat sheet here. 3 faculty members, biology, computer science, and math. Is what Dr. Coppola is asking for in this year's budget. Remember what I told you earlier. I asked them when they were looking at their request to give me the things that they felt they had to have in order to operate as efficiently as they feel like they must. And then, of course, Trinity River is the outlier with $709,000 request. But our nursing program has grown so much until we must hire additional nursing faculty, or else we can't staff it. And that, one of the things that's causing that too is that we are no longer allowed to have adjunct faculty members teach any more than 9 hours on any of the campuses. And that plays havoc with nursing because they have all the practicums that the nurses have to go to the hospitals and the other clinics and all of that with students. And you can't schedule it the way we need to schedule it. So that request includes 4 full-time nursing faculty. We're working really hard to get our LVN program up and running, and we have salary in there for the director of the program, salary for 1 instructor of the LVN program. We want to start sonography, and we have a salary there for that. and tomography, computer tomography, and we have a salary for a person to run that. And then 2 other faculty members, one in math and one in English. So those are the requests. When you look at the bottom line and you see it totals $56.6 million. That's the new money we're talking about for the 15-16 year. Any questions on any of that before I go on? There's some water back there, right behind me. Could you open it for me? I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry. TCC, that's the biggest item on there. Maybe I was hoping I'd go past that one. Carlos was hoping I wouldn't go past that one. We started TCC Connect on a shoestring budget, pulled from resources that we had in other places. We increased our enrollments in Connect by, what percent was it, Carlos? 10%. By 10%. And the increases that we have caught up with us. We increased the numbers in dual credit as well. Dual credit is getting to be a really interesting part of what we do, in that a bill passed by the last session of the legislature required ISDs to have pathways, if you will, for their students. And so they are coming to us more and more for help with dual credit. We're working really hard to see how we're going to make that work with the resources we have and the resources they want us, of course, to do everything that we can do and pay for as much as we can pay, rather than have them pay for it. So that's somewhat of a challenge for us, but we're working through that. I have told you before that we've worked with the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools about getting TCC Connect classified as a separate campus. We had 2 issues that they wanted to discuss with us. The first one was we had to have a separate address for Connect, and we're putting it at Trinity River campus in space that was occupied by Radio Shack. And we now have a separate address for that. I wanted to say, is it the fire marshal that's responsible for that, Nina? The fire marshal, I didn't know that until this came up, assigns the addresses and all for buildings. I guess that makes sense. But we do have an address now for TCC Connect. And the other thing we're looking at is the faculty. TCC Connect is designed on a different model than the campuses are designed. But we have quite a bit of discussion going on with the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools to see if we can run Connect the way we intend to. If we can't, it's going to be necessary to hire some full-time faculty members, but we're looking at how we would do that. Dr. Morales and his team went to Arizona, Rio Salado Community College. I'm sorry? Yeah, Rio Salado College in Arizona to look at how they run their online program. I think I might have mentioned to you at one point, they are a pretty slick operation now. They've been operating for quite a long time. And they have no registration periods. Any day you wake up and decide you want to go to college, you can go online and register. It's very interesting. And the faculty members that they hire, of course, are hired with the understanding that students can come in at any point and that they teach them out through the program, through the course. And so everybody has a course syllabus. Everybody knows what they've got to do, and so they teach them out, and it works extremely well for them. We're a long ways, I think, from being able to do that, except that I guess Candy Center is not here tonight, but where's Candy? Okay, I didn't see you. Hi, Candy. Candy tells me that we're closer than I think, that we may be ready to try that fall or spring. I'm not sure which. Fall or spring. Let's try spring. I'm always trying to do it yesterday, Mr. Healy. You know how that goes. So we're going to pilot that concept with a handful of courses, maybe 2, 3, 4 courses, and just see how it works. Just as we are piloting our weekend college. I believe we will have served over 300 students this year in weekend college. And weekend college is designed for the serious student, young or older, who really want to go full-time and get that degree. So you must agree to go full-time if you want to be in the weekend college in that cohort. And you can graduate within 18 months, or maybe a little bit less, if you're willing to just put your nose to the grind and work. And it would be a hybrid program where some of the courses would be offered, most of them online, but some of the others would be face-to-face. And students would meet face-to-face on a regular basis so that you can keep in touch with them. They can feel that they're not drowning, they're not being lost. So we're really anxious to see how that's going to grow here at TCC.
I did have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't mind. The $49 million, what is that for facilities?
For facilities.
You hear me okay? I'm sorry. When it says push? Yeah. There it is. The $49 million about facilities and real estate, what does that average to based on the square footage? What does that come out to be?
For all of our facilities?
Yes.
I don't know. Mark, do you know what that number is? Nina? We've been working on that. We have a new program that we're working with. That's not Ad Astra. What is that program that we're working with to figure out the per square footage cost? Is it Ad Astra too? Ad Astra, we're working on that to see what the cost per square footage is for our buildings. And of course, it would have to be done by campus
Right.
and then by building, as you know.
Right.
You understand how that works.
Mhm.
But, so we haven't figured that out yet. So we don't have an answer, but as soon as we get that program finished, we'll let you know, and the whole board know how much it's costing us per square foot
Yes.
to maintain.
Right.
What was the
we've
budget
done-
for real estate and facilities this budget year?
I'm sorry?
The budget for real estate and facilities this budget year was how much? About?
About the same as what's up there. It may be a little bit more or less. Mark is gonna look it up for me. Mark or Nancy.
I'm
It's
listening
not
to
too
this to
far
you as
off.
additional, so,
Well,
over and above the current budget, so,
but the current budget is gone, and so it's gonna take that much more to keep going.
so you're not looking at this plus then?
No, sir.
Yeah, help me understand that 60 million, because our total budget's like 360. Is this increases in addition to that? Because you have some salaries in there for additional employees. So how does that fit in the total budget? For example, in Tim's area, that's 1.8 million. Well, we buy $2 million worth of computers at a time. How does, and you said that was mostly software. So
A large part of it is. Yes, sir.
So we're not going to buy any computers this year?
This is in addition to my
In
current budget.
That's what I'm getting at.
My line item is in addition.
So these are all additions to
The current.
the current, except in the area.
Except for real estate, it's not.
Except in real estate.
That was my question.
Yeah.
If you want 50 million in addition to what we spent, what we'd already budgeted, then really we're talking kind of an astronomical number.
Yeah.
They would probably like to have that, Mr.
Everything
Carter.
up here is additional, sorry, I'm not hitting this. Everything up here is additional, really, except real estate and facilities.
Yes,
You're
sir.
starting over.
Okay, that's.
Yes, sir.
now-
Okay, I'm with you.
That's
Yeah.
clear then. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what's the next slide? Questions? Other questions, comments, discussion? Every year this time when I do the budget presentation, at some point, I'm not sure if I ask you at Budget Workshop 2 or Budget Workshop 3, but I try to get your feel about a salary increase, what your appetite is, because as you know, I have always brought to you a request for a salary increase for our employees, and I do that every year. I do that every year because I feel so strongly that our employees need to get the salary increase. And there are a number of reasons. If I start with the most important one, I would tell you that it's because we work people so hard and they are required to do so many things. But then the next thing I would say to you too is that we either give salary increases as the market demands, or we fall way behind as the market demands. and we end up losing really good people. We have excellent salaries at Tarrant County College. I think anybody would tell you that. All of our employees would tell you. We have a few people who are not necessarily happy with their salary, but for the most part, it's a very good place to be. But we have to stay there. And before I ask you to vote on a salary increase, of course, I would give you all of the data that I always give you on what the market looks like, where we stand in that market, and the percentage increase that I think we should give to our employees. But before I get too far into building the budget, because that's a very important piece of it, I need to know what your appetite is so that we don't waste time working on something that we know is not going to happen. So I'm not asking you to vote tonight. You can't anyway because it isn't on the agenda for a vote. But I guess what I am asking you to tell me if I should move forward in exploring the possibility of a salary increase for 15-16.
As for Bill Greenhill, I would prefer to have some data first. I mean, I'd like to see where we are on our salaries as they are before I give a commitment, yes or no, on that. I've always voted in favor of it, of having a salary increase. There have been differences on how much. I know how hard everybody works, but I'm kind of getting towards the feeling I'm having is that automatic pay increases when income is static, more or less, is maybe not a good thing automatically. I'd like to see some data before I commit on that. That's just my feeling.
Okay. Anyone else?
What kind of data, Bill? Do you want comparison with other institutions? Or?
What she always gives us before, where we stand with others. I'd like the data that she gives us before I commit to that. The data she's usually gives us.
Mm-hmm. And I'll have that for you at the next workshop.
Yeah, and a projection of our projected income as well.
Yeah, well,
Increase thereof.
That's coming May 29th, Nancy? No, that's the estimate, May 29th. The final number comes in July.
From the tax district.
From the tax, but the tax district will give us an estimate on May 29th. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I guess you're not able to calculate this effective tax rate yet, then?
No, they haven't been able to do that. I'm sorry?
You'd need the numbers from the tax appraisal district to do that.
Right.
And as I understand it, the new bills before the Senate are not affecting our tax rates, just public schools. Is that correct?
We are exempt from that bill.
Yes, we're exempt from that bill.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Other comments or suggestions to the Chancellor relative to?
Yes, I do. I was going to ask Chancellor, do you also base those on performance? So there's some sort of a measurement that determines whether a person receives that, or everyone, it goes across the board?
We have not based our salary increases on performance. We've discussed it. The board and I have discussed it. I think there is some appetite on the board for us to go in that direction, but we have not done that so far. We do have a very robust evaluation system that is required of every employee. And each employee is required to complete their employee performance plan based upon the goals of his or her supervisor. And those goals start, our research department runs that for us. Once the board sets goals for me, those goals go into the system. And then the people who report to me, those goals cascade down to them, and then so on down. So everybody should be working on the goals that are set by the board at some level or another. So we have the data because the way the system is designed, the employee has to show what has been done, starting with me. When the board does my evaluation, I give them a report of what I've done against the goals that were set for me. And then the board makes a decision based on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and in that same regard, as I've mentioned before, in the business world, pay increases are based on performance. And I would personally like to see some part of the pay increases based on performance. And I know that some other of our top 10 colleges have tried that, and I don't know if you have any data on those, whether or not, like San Jacinto, I think, tried that. What results did they have? Is that working out? Does that motivate people?
No. Unfortunately, it motivates a few. There's chaos for most of the others, or most institutes. You know, we had a pay-for-performance system. We've had it twice here at Tarrant County College. Years and years and years ago, we started with one. And I guess maybe 10, 15 years later, we tried it a second time. Higher education institutions, with the exception of large research universities, tend not to do pay for performance. And the reason they don't is the same reason why we still have 16-week semesters. It's tradition. And people have become accustomed to that. That's what they want. And they fight against anything else that's different from that. There's a lot of, same thing happens in business and industry, except that it's on a very different scale, because there, what you make as an individual is private information. It is not public information. So you may be working alongside somebody, you'll never know what they make. You'll never know if your salary is comparable to their salary, whatever. They aren't allowed to tell you that. And in some companies, they have a policy, they'll fire you if you tell what you're doing. So, but in the public institution, salaries are posted everywhere, all over everywhere, everybody knows that. And the main things that come up in colleges and universities, if you talk with Brenda Hellier, who is the chancellor of San Jacinto College, she will tell you it ain't a cakewalk. How well it works, you know, you can debate over that, but you'll have one employees, and you get complaints, and sometimes even formal complaints, if not a lawsuit, over why Mr. He got an increase and Ms. Vandergrift didn't get one. And she'll say, well, I did this and I did that and I did all this other. You're playing favorites. And so there are all kinds of things that, that go on. If that's something the board is really ready for me to tackle, I will do that. And I personally believe in pay for performance. That was one of the reasons why I never had an issue when the coordinating board, excuse me, the legislature started talking about paying us for performance. I think that's fair. And so they say, to the extent that you can get students to be successful, we'll pay you, and to the extent you can't, we won't. They only take 10% of our budget in that category. But that's what it's all about. So I don't have a problem with doing it if that's what the board's feeling is. But I do think, excuse me, that you should give some serious consideration and not mix the two together. You either want a pay for performance system, or you want to give a salary increase without any strings attached to it, and trust that we are going to not keep somebody who isn't performing. So that's really the way it works. I've studied pay for performance systems for years, both in the public sector and in the private sector. And I haven't found anybody who has said to me, oh yeah, that's an easy thing to do. But I know from your perspective as a trustee, it doesn't matter whether it's easy or not. The question, y'all don't have to deal with that. I do. And I'm telling you that I'm willing to deal with it if that's what y'all want me to do. Doesn't mean it can't be done just because it isn't easy. And so I'm not trying to shy away from it. because it's not easy. I would never do that. So if I'm hearing now that you want me to bring you a plan for pay for performance, I will tell you I can't do it by August of 2015. But if you want me to start working on that, say for next year, I could do that. We do have, as I said, everything in place that we need as far as evaluations are concerned. It takes a lot of training of your staff people who are going to be making the recommendations on what a salary increase should be or why there should not be one. It takes a lot of training for that. And with all the training you do, you still have a lot of challenges with people being, quote, fair about it.
Yeah, I think, you know, we need to take a look at the data of colleges that have tried that and the different ways they've done that. If the data shows that there's an increase in student success, that if more students are graduating, more students are staying, and we got completion rates and those kind of things. If there's data that show that that kind of a system motivates teachers to accomplish more in terms of student success, then we're going to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. The other side of the argument you'll get, especially from the classroom, and I'll turn to the faculty, is they'll tell you quickly that you can't prove that that's a realistic number that you're looking at. That's what I hear from faculty. Jesse, is that right? You want to say something? Come to the microphone. This is Mr. Jesse Hill. He's a faculty member on South Campus who represents his faculty. You want to have a comment on what you think I'll hear primarily from the faculty? You got to come to the microphone.
I got to come to the microphone.
Yes, sir.
I shouldn't have had dinner. My experience is not only with faculty. I've worked in the public sector before. I've worked in the private sector before. Pay for performance is something that sounds good. I agree with the Chancellor. Actual implementation is very difficult on the scale that we're talking about with our employees. From a faculty perspective, we do get evaluated. Now, all of our compensation isn't based on the salary increases that we get every year. In the packet that we got tonight, one of the things that's there is the rank and promotion schedule that's there. There's also promotion opportunities for faculty. You have to do well to get those promotions. They come with additional compensation as well. So I don't think faculty is adverse as far as being measured on their performance. And here again, the elephant in the room is, what is that measure? And how to, my performance evaluation. I see someone one day a year that comes in and evaluates how well I'm teaching my students. Okay, that's the evaluation process. I can be great that one day, and most faculty can. So I don't see that as the issue. It's and I've been through it in public sector before, and yes, pay for performance is very time consuming. There's a lot of supervisory training. How do you come up with that measure? What are you going to be measured on? And how do you be consistent with that? So those are some of the things that come up. Like I said, I don't think we're adverse to that. I think I do a great job in the classroom. And every time somebody tells me that, that's a reward for me. It's not just all compensation. But I definitely agree 100% with the Chancellor. It's a very difficult process to set up with faculty. And here again, within this institution, it's not just faculty. We have a good size administrative staff that would also have to be evaluated that way. So anyway, thank you, and
Yeah.
and I'll try to get my stomach in and go back out.
May I,
Thank you.
Madam President, may I revisit this real estate and facilities
Yes,
question
sir.
one more time? I'm trying to get a grasp on it here. Everybody else that you gave a number that they were asking for an increase above. And then you said all of this is new, but yet if we set exactly the same budget as last year and you had that construction money that you had for this budget year in it, you wouldn't be asking for this particular number. So is it your intent to absorb that budget monies into other things and then ask for this additionally?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, then, so basically you're saying, and so how much was the real estate facilities budget this year?
You got the number for me?
This is real estate budget for the last, from 2007 to 2015. That's their budget.
Not 29 million, that's
Yes,
not
ma'am.
right.
That's just the operating.
I need
Now,
the
if
total
you-
budget.
If you want to look at what has been spent, these are the
No, 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 no,
transfers.
no, I want the total budget.
That is the.
Nancy, do you have the comprehensive number? No, what's 29 million? Is that what you had this year? No new money. Mr. Carter, let me get the number for you.
Okay, so, and this, what I think you're saying is that if it was 29 million, that you're gonna take that 29 million and distribute it to other expenditures, but yet you would like another 40-something million for that, which I
Come to
which
the
I don't think
microphone,
is
Nina.
quite cricket.
It's not over. It's not, it's just.
Nina, come to the microphone if you're gonna speak. Nancy?
I'd actually rather defer this to Nancy because she's the keeper of the
Okay, well,
official
I'm
numbers.
sure you have a
But it's
general,
not, what I would say is we're not asking for over and above what we've done. It's just replenishing the same funds in a different way. And all of our.
I know you're not, but I think that she is.
Nancy? I'm sorry, Mr. Carter. Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
I know she's not asking for more money, but I think that what your intention is to use those resources for the rest of the budget and then add to the overall budget this particular number. Am I wrong?
Okay, Sherry's going to pull up one page, income page.
I know, I don't think you're wrong. One of the main reason I want Nancy to come up here because I have gone through this time and time again with Nancy and Mark on the budget because I started counting money that Nancy told me I couldn't count from a number of places. And so I'm going to let her explain it to you and
In
see.
Chinese.
That would work.
Might
as well. It'd be just as clear.
Okay, our total maintenance operation is, you see in the maintenance fund is 159, plus 34 for cap, that 34 million is we going to renewal replacement. Now, let's assume the 34 million it's all going to renewal replace to what Nina wants to do. But after this, that 34 million last year, 24 of them is earmarked to do early high school in South Campus and Northeast Campus, plus finish the energy.
Okay, as I'm interpreting this, so it's 34 million.
Right.
That's our number now. So as I'm interpreting this, this 34 million would be absorbed into other expenses, and then down to this bottom line, this total cost here, we would add almost 50 million bucks.
No, we're at 49 minus 34.
Okay, that was what I was getting at. It sounded to me like we were going to use that 34 million, which is what we did when we started paying down our debt, and then add to. So you're not asking then for 46 or 49 million over, you're asking for plus over 34. So the number up here
15
should not be 50 million.
Yeah.
The number up here should be,
49 minus 50.
well, 49 minus
Assume-
34.
Assume the 34 is used the part of 49, not
Okay.
anything else.
Well, I'm just trying to make sure, is it gonna be 49 plus
minus
that bottom
35.
number, or is it gonna be 49 minus that 34? And so
49
you're,
minus 30.
okay, then that's what it should have said, then.
Yeah, exactly. Apples and oranges.
Okay.
Apple, orange, plus pear.
I just don't want to show up here and say, well, you said back there we could have that. I said, I don't think so.
Because
Okay.
I argued with you all about that.
Okay, the reason
I'm asking Nancy to explain to you all why they gave it to me like that, because I argued that point with
Yeah.
them. And they told me it had to be shown this way for whatever reason. And I told them, I don't quite understand that, but as long as you all understand it.
Well, I didn't, so now you're both of us. So, okay. Okay, so basically we're asking for plus that. Okay.
And I had another question.
Yes, sir.
Regarding the 709,000 for Trinity River.
Yes, sir.
The additional amount. And it's for new programs and new teachers and so forth. Is that going to result in an increase in the number of students?
Yeah, the students are already here. The students are already here, and we're already serving them, except for the new program. In the nursing program, the students are already here, and we have been using adjuncts. We can't use them this year coming up. So we've got to hire 4 new faculty members to serve the students who are already here. Am I right, Tahita? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are we at capacity at Trinity River, or can we add more students? As
No,
we
we're
increase
never
the
at
number of them?
capacity until we do 24/7. How many times have I said
Okay,
that?
well.
No, we aren't close to capacity. Now, we've got a challenge trying to add more students because of the training sites for their practicums, the hospitals and the clinics and all of that. We have to work harder to get those, but no, sir, we are not at capacity.
Okay, so you're adding some teachers for new courses, and that would result in increased student, okay.
Well, no, I want to make sure the students are already here.
Well, there's 2 items. There's some new courses
There's some-
with new students
Yeah.
and new faculty for students who are already
Yeah,
here.
right.
So we're really talking 2 different.
I thought he was talking about nursing. You were talking
Well,
about the whole
All the things
thing.
that are part of the 709,000.
Yeah, there's a LVN program that we have there, program director and 1 faculty member. There is a computer tomography, a director of that, and then a director, and sonography. Those would be 3 new programs
that's what I'm saying.
that we will get started with students pretty much in the queue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But new students
New students.
would be, yeah, they'd be contributing tuition and so forth against that.
Yes, sir. And that's something else I should have pointed out too, that $1.6, I believe, million that I showed up there for TCC Connect. And I told you about the increase. Well, all that's new income that's paying for that increase in what we've got to do in Connect to continue to help it grow.
And I'd also like to say I'm grateful for the conversation we had about pay for performance. I don't want the faculty to think that this is a huge thing that we're going after, but if we don't get the information about that kind of thing, we can't make decisions. And now what I'm saying is I'm glad to hear the conversation and the debate about whether or not we should even have it. I think that's very useful. Thank you.
It's a little bit late too in this, at this juncture for
Yeah.
for this fiscal year in any case.
Right. Yeah, I said that. If you want me to study it for next year, fine, but I certainly can't do it this year.
Other questions?
I have another question for you, and that is your feelings about tuition. You know, I put that up there, and I don't know, again, if you want us to move forward with leaving the tuition just as it is, or you have an appetite for any kind of increase in tuition.
I do want to make a point about when we did the Hazelwood report, that expenditure alone is roughly about $1 an hour, the increase in that. The legislature may change it, but I kind of doubt that they will. That will affect us any. So just recouping that is going to require about $1 increase, and then, whatever else that we decide that we need to do.
And that's one thing I didn't put on the agenda on the legislative update, but that's pretty much, I believe, in both chambers, there has been a move to erase the language for dependents being able to take all that. So that will decrease that a lot, Mr. Carter.
Right.
Yes.
So you didn't give me any kind of indication.
She's still waiting on an answer.
I
Do
will.
the hokey pokey.
I'm sorry.
I think the tuition is basically undervalued, and you add that probably just to maintain, budget needs, that you probably need to look at $2 or $3. I don't mind freezing it for another 2 or 3 years if you do that. I don't want to keep pounding them all along, but it seems to me like that's sort of a minimal expectation.
Yeah, if we're ranked number 9, but that means more students that can afford us. But if we have a use for the money, maybe something specific, or, in the rest of the budget, if that requires that we increase the tuition, I'm not against that.
It's interesting, some of the comments yesterday at the foundation board meeting, and I've forgotten exactly what the question was. Ms. Appleman, you may remember, or Ms. Vandergrift, what the question was in the group you were in, that they were asking we were in groups to look at, but I want to say the question had something to do with how do you see TCC? I think that was the question, basically. Is that about right, Joe? And several of them said they thought our tuition was too low, and that as a result, and that was causing a lot of people to think that we were just not worth their time because we charged so little for tuition. So
Their comment was low cost, low quality,
yeah.
which was surprising.
Let's double it.
Yes.
So going regarding the tuition situation,
Fix that.
I really appreciate the designation, so it gives an understanding of that increase and its purpose, and I'm sure that we have some purpose going forward. Just for Trustee Ayala's understanding, I think this is right. With the tuition ratings that we did with the top 10, when it actually says tuition and fees, and we lump our fees into that single number. So, the students are still,
Getting a better deal.
yeah, they're getting a better deal here overall, and that's not really reflected in that list that you showed earlier. So,
Or is it?
No, it is.
well, it's like Dallas is, I can't remember what
Shelley,
their
can
number,
you
but
take
it
us
used to
back
be
to that
32, but
slide?
now they've lumped in the fees and schedules, yeah.
My understanding is, when I asked the staff for that, when it's reported by the Higher Education Coordinating Board and by TACC, they report tuition, fees, something, and then total. The numbers that you see up there should be the total for every institution. Is that right? Who did that for me?
Correct.
Who did that, Reginald? Who did that chart for me? Who?
Oh, this one, I
Yes.
did. I have.
Okay,
the
isn't
other
that,
chart,
am
too.
I right? It's the total of everything?
Yes, includes their fees. the
Right,
school's
right.
fees.
That number up there does include their fees.
Okay.
There may be some.
They're having
Yeah.
budget sessions too as we speak, and I have a feeling a lot of them will be going up.
Okay, this is our schedule, correct? So Shelley did this, is this from
Shelley
the
took
coordinating
the-
board?
Yeah, she took the information, TACC,
Okay.
Texas Association of Community Colleges.
And I have that.
You have the sheet?
I do have that.
Because
Okay.
I think I've seen other grids where Dallas seems to always have a lower tuition, and they provide the tuition number and not include the fees.
They used to, but see where they've jumped now?
Yeah, oh, I see that,
To
because it used to be
59.
32 or 38, something like that.
It was just a little bit above Collin. For years, Collin was the lowest, and Dallas was the next to the lowest. Then about 2 years ago is when they jumped theirs up and put the fees and all. That's the chart we get from the TACC. She's going to try to blow it up so you can see it better. Okay. See, you've got tuition fees and then total. See? Mm-hmm. Stop at Dallas.
Dallas is zero fees. Come down, look at that, zero fees.
But see, it comes to the total of 59. They all have to show whatever their fees are, what their tuition is.
Wow, look at Odessa. Well, no, that's.
Yeah, if you look at some of the smaller institutions, then you see some pretty stout numbers.
Madam Chancellor.
Yes.
Yes,
Dr.
ma'am.
Morrison.
I actually think that we should consider looking at a tuition increase. And I think we should start at $5. And that, I think that should be a good beginning point.
Can you hear her?
For what?
I heard her, but I don't know, everybody else here, they heard her. She said $5 should be the beginning point. So I will bring you options on what you may want to consider at the next budget workshop. Anything else for me? Okay.
Thank you, and
Thank you very
thanks
much.
to all who helped in preparing the material for us. All right, we'll move to item number 6, approval of the minutes of the meeting of April 16th, 2015. Motion to approve.
So moved. Second? Whatever.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, the consideration and approval of recommendations for faculty promotion in rank and award of tenure. You received that in your packet. I might have a motion to approve. Second, any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 10, committee reports, audit and finance. Mr. Carter?
Since our last session, Madam President.
Okay, the governance committee met to prepare the agenda. Institutional planning, Ms. Vandergrift?
The Institutional Planning Committee did meet. We did have discussion with closed session, but in addition to that, we also talked about the North Richland Hills City Council and moving forward with the TIF as it relates to the Center of Excellence for Visual, Technical, and Performing Arts. So we're really pleased with that, and we have more research being done, and we'll do more and bring it to you really after our next meeting in June.
Thank you. Any questions? Sorry. 50th anniversary celebration, Dr. Morrison.
Well, our campuses are highlighting the 50th anniversary with many celebratory events and activities. For instance, South has compiled a multi-panel display of the decades, which is in their library. Northeast is in the midst of planning for their signature campus event, which will be on July 30th, entitled Passport for the Future. Northwest held their spring fling event in April and incorporated a disco theme, and they played Did You Know This About TCC Trivia? Southeast celebrated a birth anniversary to celebrate all faculty, staff, and students born in 1965 and to celebrate the 50th anniversary of TCC. And Trinity River is in the process of displaying the visuals of nursing uniforms from the anniversary year. And the uniform of our very own board president will be included. As a matter of fact, will be featured in that display.
Yes, it is.
That she can still wear.
No, I don't know. To adjust the buttons. My nurse's uniform that I used to wear 50 years ago, and my cap and my cape. Angela, you probably still have yours hanging somewhere.
Not from 50 years ago.
Oh, that's right. You're younger than I am. So naughty. Anyway, they encased me, they entombed me in a curio cabinet. All right, thank you. A lot of things, and I think the capsule was buried today at Southeast Campus, and I understand each campus will do something similar. Is that correct? A time capsule? You have one already. This was at the Early College High School, and the students were there, and it was quite the affair. All right, item number 12. We're into staff recommendations, starting with Ms. Petty. Consideration and approval of cooperative purchasing network agreement with Contrax Furnishings to provide for the purchase and installation of laboratory and classroom furniture for the South Campus Energy Technology Center in the amount of $121,866.62.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
No problem at all.
Let's get it on the table first. Is there a motion to approve?
Yes.
Dr. Morrison, a second by Ms. Vandergrift. Questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being patient with me.
Absolutely.
When I was reading through this, I was noticing that there's a difference in pricing of the equipment, but it all seems like it's fixed, whether it's fixed or it's workstation heights and things like that. So I was just wondering why the variance in the pricing.
I'm not exactly sure specifically what you're asking.
Well, I was looking, the information I was given, it shows here the different models, right? There's different model, and there's different, but they all seem to say that they're similar, the equipment itself. So I was just wondering why the variance in the pricing.
You're talking about the variance between the list price and our price?
No, just the variance in the pricing altogether.
What page are you on?
I'm looking on the where it gets the customer quit quote. So if you look under where it says green manufacturing, and then it gives the information relative to the unit pricing. So I was just wondering why the variance in all of the pricing.
Yeah, I'm just seeing this right now, and I apologize for not being able to answer your questions. I may need to be able to get back to you on it. Our director, Kirby Chadwell, is out at this board meeting usually. I think this is the first one he's ever missed, who provides the detailed backup to this.
Okay. And maybe the secondary question to that is, I was noticing that there's doesn't seem to be a discounted price, whereas the other vendor offered. So I just wondered if that was.
And I'm wondering, is Mike Herndon here? Because my bet is Mr. Mike Herndon is director of our procurement department.
Okay.
So all of this goes through our procurement, and he may be able to answer these specifically.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela.
Yeah. All right, so I'm trying to follow where you were. I apologize.
And I apologize, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
I think the answer is, it says fixed height, but it may be different because these are workstations, and depending on where you put them, it'll say a fixed height because that's the name of whatever it is you're buying, but it's very different from one place to another to another.
Are you seeing that?
That's what I think it is.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
we'll see what Mike
there's
Herndon
small
says.
variations in the items, and like she said, it may be difference in price. All this furniture is publicly bid through a consortium. This particular one is the TCPN consortium, where they meet the statutory requirements for us. So this pricing is directly off their schedule, item by item. So I don't know that completely answers your question, but there's minor variations in the different pieces, so there's going to be some variation in price.
One of the other things I was noticing is the amount of money as far as the shipping and the installation. What all does that installation cover? Because it seems to be pretty high, and then the shipping is high, and I wondered if there was an option to look for a local vendor.
Well, this particular one is some specialty furniture for specific labs. We actually have a bid that we did for most of the furniture we have here at the district. This was a one-off that none of those manufacturers had, so this is specialty furniture specifically for special labs. So. And yeah, furniture is large and bulky, and shipping is expensive. Installation means they come in, they set it up, clean up behind themselves. A lot of this stuff is components, has to be put together and things like that. That's the reason it's so high.
Do we have an idea of what the average time it is to Because I was figuring this out, it looked like it's like $74 or $75 to put each one of these units together. So I was just wondering what the time frame they're giving us, if we've kind of broken it down into, see whether or not it's going to be a couple hours, it's going to be, because that's a lot of money, per unit. I mean, if I'm calculating it properly, it looked like it was almost $74.
Right, yeah, no, I have not broken that down. Again, their installation pricing is part of the cooperative, and it's set at, that schedule is established through that cooperative, through their bid, so that's the price that it is if we want to use their furniture, so.
Is that something we can negotiate at all with them?
Sometimes you can, yes.
Okay, and have we looked at doing that with them? Or?
We do on a lot of the cooperatives we have. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Herndon.
Yes, ma'am.
And maybe a brief explanation of the cooperatives,
The what, ma'am?
of what the cooperatives are.
Cooperatives, yes. We, every year, we bring to the board a list of the different consortiums we would like to participate in. There's a pretty long list. I didn't bring the list with me, but TCPN is one of them. The Texas Multiple Award Schedule, which the state of Texas actually bids on behalf of different agencies throughout the state that can go use those cooperatives, and it meets the statutory requirements for that. The Educational Institutional Cooperative, the BuyBoard Cooperative. There's a bunch of those. So we use those as a one method to purchase furniture. Or not furniture, but purchase different things throughout the district. We also do our own bids for certain things, and that's just one particular method that we can use.
So it's like a preferred vendor type?
It is,
list.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They go through that process to do that work for the different agencies or members within the state who want to use their cooperative.
Okay.
And those are put through a bid process?
They are competitively bid by those consortiums.
And normally, I mean, I certainly don't know about this one in particular, but that's another one of the things that we look at very closely at the Texas Association of Community Colleges. And we even have our own cooperative
We do,
now at
yes, the
TACC.
TACBO, yeah.
And we give a lot of time and discussion to that, because the only reason that TACC would have that would be to save us money. And so they negotiate really, really hard on the front side to get the best prices, and then.
And the advantage of those consortiums is that they're using the buying power of a lot of agencies versus just ours. So that's one of the reasons we look at those periodically.
You might want to mention what we didn't, because we took a pretty hard look about how we purchase furniture overall.
Yes, we did. A year ago, we went out and did a bid. We try to standardize on what types of furniture we put throughout the district. So we looked at a list of the different manufacturers that we would like to consider be able to buy, and we put together a bid. And what we found was there were three local companies that ended up being awarded that bid for about, I think it was 12, maybe 15 different brands of furniture. And just like a lot of these consortiums, we use basically a percentage discount off of their published list price, and those discounts are 40, 50, 60% sometimes, depending on what the brand is. And we brought that to the board last year. And a lot of the little furniture that we buy across the district every day, we use that bid. That bid's still active, so we still use that. But this particular one, because of the specialization of that, I believe for the ETC, if I'm not correct, the type of lab equipment that was not, we couldn't find it on any of those. This is kind of a one-off thing.
Okay.
Right.
I would like to know if you could just inquire about what the general time is to complete, for these, to put these together. Because I mean, again, I was just, and I may not have been calculating correctly, but I just kind of, figured out the number of units, divided it by, and, so it came out to be $74. I just want to make sure we're not paying $74 for something that's going to take 30 minutes to do.
I'll work with Nina's folks that manage that.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. As I say, it takes a village.
Yeah.
So.
Other questions, discussion? All those in favor of approving item number 12, classroom furniture for the South Campus Energy Technology Center, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 13, consideration and approval of BuyBoard cooperative agreement with Facility Solutions Group for the purchase of exterior lighting fixtures and controls for the South Campus parking and roadway fixtures in the amount of $324,000, $522.78. Motion to approve. Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Greenhill. Questions, discussion? No,
I do have-
you might guess, Ms. Ayala is a contract specialist, and we appreciate her detailed orientation.
This is for the materials, correct? The materials that are listed here. So is this saying that the labor is not included so that we would be charged according to this labor chart on the next? So this is just, is that correct, what I'm reading?
I'm going to ask my Director of Infrastructure, David Holt.
We went to 7 vendors.
Right.
David, you know better than that.
Thank you.
He'll tell you more than you may want to know. That's okay, thanks. This is David Hulke, who is Director of our Infrastructure.
Hi, David. Thank you.
We went out to 7 different vendors. The pricing went from just around $400,000 to $324,000 for the materials. The lead time on these materials are 6 to 9 weeks. So we wanted to make sure we could install all this later in the summer. So we're going to put this out to other cooperative vendors and see who gets it. It makes sense. This is a high-tech system that actually reports back on a fixture-by-fixture basis. We're able to program fixture by fixture, dim the levels and reduce the amount of power in the late evenings, and still have very good readability for cameras, security, all the above.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you, this is just for the materials?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we're still going to send a bid out to get somebody to install what we currently have and install?
Probably go out for cooperative pricing. It'll probably be in the ballpark of 40 to 60K maximum for the installation.
Okay.
Now, there's going to be a second phase coming in the fall. We took all the existing light standards and replaced the fixtures on those. We have all the interior to do, and we need 43 additional light poles to get the level where it needs to be on the campus.
Okay.
So there's a lot more work coming up on this project.
Okay, all right.
That help?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Do you mind staying there, because I may have a few
I know,
more
I just told him, don't go far.
So was there a site analysis or that said this is what we need, or is it there's existing and we're just replacing whatever's existing? Is that correct? Or is it a mixture of both?
No, it's a great question. We installed light fixtures, replaced them about 2004, 5, 6, somewhere right in that range there. Metal halides, they were the latest fixtures, highest quality at the time. We operate the fixtures, most of them all night. The energy efficiency compared to what you can do today is nothing like it is in these newer fixtures. And there's also the issue, as these fixtures are getting older, we're finding a lot of depreciation in the light level. It's the alignment of the reflectors, it's the seals on the thing, so you get bugs in them and depreciate the light. And there's no reporting mechanism in the existing fixtures. It's somebody having to report and get it, and then sometimes you'd end up with a number of fixtures in an area and a campus president being very upset the fact that it's dark. And it's bad for our students in our image. So
that's what I was, but there's a site analysis that this is replacing. If there's a post here, we're going to replace that post. And
we went through probably 5 or 6 reviews of the lighting, foot candle analysis. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Very detailed analysis we went through
Okay.
until we were happy with the results.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
That's it. I'm sorry. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor, excuse me, item number 13, to purchase the exterior lighting fixtures and controls for the South Campus parking roadway fixtures, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 14, consideration and approval of interlocal purchasing system cooperative agreement with Texas Air Systems to provide for the purchase of boilers for the South Campus Central Utilities Plant in the amount of $180,972. Motion to approve. Dr. Morrison, move to approve. Second?
Second.
Ms. Vandergriff, discussion, questions? No one's
No, not that
interested
one,
in
I don't
boilers?
I was waiting.
You're okay?
On that one, yes.
All right, all those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 15, consideration and approval of emergency change order for South Campus Sanitary System. Unforeseen conditions required additional scope of work for the South Campus Central Utilities Plant in the amount of $31,006. Motion to approve.
This is actually an information only, and
Thank
it's
you.
no need for approval on
Okay.
it, but if you
Just
do have questions on
FYI.
it, and I might note that I think, Chancellor, since you have been Chancellor, this is our first actual construction change order that we've had ever that's been additive. And the short story, and if you want the long one, you
Money returned.
Yeah.
Oh, we've had many that have been deductive
Absolutely.
change orders, but this is our first construction, and it's information only, which means it doesn't need your approval because you've given the Chancellor the authority to deal with construction emergencies, which this was. And this was work done at our South Campus when they got into the slab, thinking the design drawings showed about a 6-inch slab. It was more like 30 inches. And it created an unsafe environment for our staff to work in, and therefore it was an emergency work of $31,006, and we just wanted to inform you of this because it is a change order. And if you have any detailed questions, I have Mr. Holke behind me to answer them.
My question is what is the procedure for, what is the criteria for, quote, an emergency? I'm not criticizing, but what is your criteria? Is there an amount?
I would probably
for change
have
orders? Is there
either Mike Herndon or this is Mr. Walt Williams, who is Director of Operational Infrastructure, so another new face for you. In this case, it was really a safety and security, which justified the emergency. Mike,
generally speaking, if
procurement
there's an
standpoint?
emergency change order, what is the criteria for an emergency, and how much can she change?
If it's less than $25,000, it does not require board approval. In a situation where it would normally require board approval, which this was, it was just over 25, and per statute, construction change orders greater than 25,000 have to come before the board. We had to deal with it as an emergency because normally we would wait and bring it to you as a change order request. But because of the situation that Walter can probably tell you about, it was going to stop everything. There were some life safety issues, so we brought it to the Chancellor, and she has has been delegated that authority to approve such changes. So did that answer your question?
Sort of.
Over 20.
I think he's asking what constituted it being an emergency.
Okay, so
Well, that's
we're
probably
over
a lot.
$25,000, and that's fine.
In a construction environment, change orders over 25 normally have to have board approval.
Of course, and then we've given her the authority to go above
In an emergency.
that, in an emergency. What
That's
is
correct.
an emergency?
Walter, you want to take that one? Sure.
And how much can she spend in an emergency? I'm not just talking about her, about our chancellor, our leadership spending our money without our approval.
Well, I don't know that there is a specific limit on it.
Well,
But that's, a change order is not generally going to be very, very much money, so.
And technically, you've delegated the authority to the Chancellor, not blanket, up to a certain level. Is that the question?
The question is, what makes an emergency? Walt, tell us what makes for an emergency. I know, but you tell the board members.
Yeah, it's a technical issue. In this case, it was a safety issue. Basically, they look like a moonscape in that plant, and with the prospect of having to wait a month and people having to operate in there, that was a safety issue. There was also a project coming on the tail end of that has a schedule that coincides with a lot of things going on at South Campus, and it was going to impact that schedule. We'd have had to pay remobilization if these contractors had to go away and come back. So there's financial issues, safety, and just operational issues.
And then is there a limit? You don't remember. That's okay. I pass. For later information, that's fine.
We can get you the answer, but.
I will tell you, board members, that I don't recall that there is a limit. But if it gets to a number that I'm not comfortable with, I will certainly let the president know and let her decide whether or not the board needs to be convened for that one item.
Right, I trust you.
Thank you.
And I think in this case, we felt, even at 30,000, it was important to provide you information on it.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I do have a question. How are you? What kind of measures have we implemented to try to prevent something like this from happening again, where, we didn't, I noticed there was something about a camera, and there were some other, so I just wondered what we've implemented just to kind of prevent this.
Right. Again, a design was done by a registered engineer structurally, basically using existing drawings as built conditions that when you get in there, were not as built. I guess in retrospect, we could have done some destructive things, coring or that type of thing to try to determine that, but nobody just really suspected that we had that kind of issue that we were facing.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
And Mrs. Ayala, you probably know that I guess maybe up until about 10 years ago, almost no one could depend fully upon as-built drawings, no matter where you are. It's just amazing how things change over the years, and they go in to make one little change here, one little change there, they aren't updated, and then you get the as-built drawings and you get in there. I've served on a lot of boards where the majority of the change orders come from as-built drawings not being as they show.
Right. Right.
And those
that's a
as-builts,
challenge. And they generally go back over a long number of years.
these as-builts are at the South Campus, so they're the original, and they're
Right.
50 years old.
So in that case, would we just make a notation on that as-built plan saying that this is really, instead of it being 3 inches or 6 inches, we just make a notation? Is that one of the things that we kind of do to prevent it from
We'll
happening
show
again?
existing condition, and
Okay.
people 50 years from now can.
Perfect.
Next time we do it, yeah.
Thank you.
We hope it lasts 50 more years, Walter.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Petty. Mr. Marshall, consideration and approval of purchase of VMware Enterprise Licensing Agreement from New Tech Solutions in the amount of $884,953.69. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Dr. Morrison, seconded by Mr. Heed. Questions, comments?
Go over what ELA periods mean.
That's the extended license agreement. So instead of paying for 1 year, we're paying for 3. ELA in the software world, that's just basically, we want to take advantage of the software and lock down a price for 3 years.
So we're not paying renewal fees every
We're paying one payment this year for 3 years worth of coverage. So
3 years of
yeah,
coverage. That's
so-
what this, okay,
Yeah,
that's
so it's extended license agreement.
extended license.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's what it says, extended license. Okay.
So I guessed good.
Other questions, comments?
Yes,
Ms.
I was going to
Ayala?
ask you relative to, hi.
Hi.
Relative to the licenses, I noticed here that we're getting 6,300 licenses. Is
Yes.
that how did we come up with that particular number?
That's equal to the number of licenses that we need over the next 3 years. So it's the number of installed equipment. They're different types of licenses. One's for the devices you see in front of you. Those are the
Right.
desktops, and the others are for servers. So this is for current installed equipment.
So if we disconnect some computers or servers or whatever, does that change, does that modify this rate at all?
No, the vendors are, you're buying based upon your perceived need, and they're pricing based on your perceived use.
Okay.
So they will come back and audit us to make sure we're not adding to it. But if we reduce the numbers, I've never seen a vendor tell me.
They wouldn't issue a credit, in other words?
They might if we give them a year's notice. I have seen that, but they typically, it's buyer beware.
Is that something we can put in the agreement with them?
I have not seen that before. We don't anticipate these numbers going down. These will probably go up because the equipment lasts longer than personal computers. And the servers take basically half the power that a typical server does. So we're moving more and more into the virtual environment. a good question, though. I mean, I'd love to be able to say, I'm turning this one off, please rebate my money, but
Well, and it's not really, I mean, that's why I was asking if it was something we'd even propose to put in there, because if it does happen, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not averse to it. I just know what
Okay.
our need is, so. yeah.
Okay. The other question I had was relative, this includes upgrades. They're going to be pushing those up, any sort of upgrades, or they're going to be pushing any sort of
This is their full software licensing, so that always includes any patches or upgrades that
Okay.
they make.
Good, okay, thank you.
Other questions? All those in favor of approving the purchase of the VMware Enterprise Licensing Agreement, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Consideration and approval of purchase of Microsoft Premier Support Renewal in the amount of $139,910. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Any questions?
I guess I
No.
do, Mr. Marshall.
Sure.
Sorry.
No,
What
it's
if we
okay.
histor-
You
I
don't have to
was-
apologize. I mean,
was
this
reading
is
under-
fun.
I was reading under the ramifications,
Yes.
And what have we historically used as far as support? Because I noticed that a lot of this covers support, so I just wondered if we had a benchmark that helped us determine that this is probably good for us, or if it's,
We typically overuse support.
Okay.
Microsoft is pretty good on not charging us when we go past. This is the support not for general staff. This is the support for my IT managers and our technicians. This is the premier level. So this is when something goes bump in the night and we need expertise. This keeps me from having to hire multiple senior Microsoft engineers. So if you want, I can get you a number of hours that we've spent in the last couple of years. This is a pretty good deal. It's we've always used more hours than we've been allotted
Okay.
with Microsoft.
good. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor of the purchase of Microsoft Premier Support Renewal, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 18, consideration and approval of purchase of infrastructure hardware from Flair DataSystems for South Campus Energy Technology Center in the amount of $148,916.16. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Any questions?
I have a question. Is this process how in your summary of information, you said you had a prior relationship with this vendor? Is that
Yes.
supposed to be particular information we should know, or should have this been bid out, or it's just?
When we're dealing with network equipment, we always want to work with a vendor that's familiar with our environment.
Yes.
It is a weighted criteria, but this is purchase off of the one of the Texas DIR. That's the Department of Information Resources. They negotiate with Cisco for pricing that we couldn't get. So all this equipment is Cisco equipment. It's our standard, and we do have a number of vendors that we buy from Cisco. It's not always Flair, but Flair is one of the 3 or 4 that we typically buy from.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor of the purchase of infrastructure hardware from Flair DataSystems, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 19, consideration and approval of contract amendment with AT&T Intercampus Circuits in the amount of $266,445 for a 3-year contract. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Vandergriff, second.
Second.
Mr. Heed. Discussion, questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Item number 20, consideration and approval of purchase of an instrumentation and process control, thank you, Mr. Marshall. Process control training system in the amount of $151,518. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded. Mr. Heed. Questions? All those in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 21, consideration and approval of indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contracting method for project delivery and approval of pool for environmental consulting services for a period of 3 years, no amount. Motion to approve
So moved.
by Dr. Morrison, seconded by Mr. Greenhill. Discussion, questions? Mr. McClendon is at the podium.
Call the question.
All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. McClendon. You stay there. Item number 22, consideration and approval of indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contracting method for project delivery and approval of pool for test and balance services for a period of 3 years. Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Carter, seconded by Ms. Vandergriff. Any questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. McClendon, monthly financial report.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, first of all, trustees, congratulations.
Thank you.
Mrs. Ayala, welcome. This is, we're really happy to be here, and we're really happy to answer any of your questions. I look forward to doing that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have the privilege of explaining the great financials that we have at TCC. I feel very proud, and I think the trustees should be found because we think it's a joint collaboration on there. So you're going to. Okay, so Shelley's right in time. Okay. All right. Thank you. So the way that we look at our financials, I'll tell you the process that we do. What we do is we look at our financial statements and we try to determine at what percentage you should be. So we'll take the percentage of months. We're 8 months. So we would look at 8/12 is 65%. So where we're looking is for any item that would be bigger or larger than 75%. So in revenue, if you're higher than 75%, that's a really good deal because this is revenue. Now, when we go to cost, it would be at the inverse naturally. So if we wanted to show you, just want to highlight that when you look at 199%, that is a mark-to-market on investments. So what that means is that because of GASB, GASB, and external auditors, there is a certain rule that you have to evaluate your investments according to that rule. So that is going to change every month by ruling. And the reason this came was that they didn't want to have investments overvalued or undervalued when people looked at them over a 12-month period, but the law or the accounting standards asked for it. So this does not mean that we're doing that good. It just, that is the valuation that happened to be, and that has to change when amounts of the valuations are going up or down, that number, even if it was a negative. What you really want to do is look at your total amount and your income to date, and what that has to do also is you've got to understand that we will go to our investment report that has a lot to do with the prevailing interest rates. Now, the prevailing interest rates have not been all that good, but they're starting to rise. So that's what moves that number there. But if we look at the total picture of revenue, we're sitting on 88%. So for TCC, so at this month, which is the 8th month, to have an 88%, that is a very good position. Our revenue in TCC is very stable. The state of Texas is very predictable. Our other tax that comes from our local authority and taxing is also very predictable. So our revenue as an organization is really not at risk. I mean, if it was at risk, it would be a cataclysmic thing happen in the United States. So our revenue, I would say, if anything, is a very strong position. So now we're going to look at expenses, all right? So if we look at the expenses, overall, our expenses, we're looking at anything that's about 75%. We may have items that you will see that these expenses are higher than 75%, and the reason is the way that we have to do is modified accrual accounting. So in modified accrual accounting, what it means is that you recognize the total encumbrances into that period. While if we used accrual accounting, you would do a monthly expenditure. So what it means is that you're showing an expense for more than one period. That's what modified accrual will do. You will also have, on some of them, we have prepaid expensive, and just like Mr. Marshall said that he wanted to pay something for a 3-year, that expense will show up, but that is benefited, and then every year we will reverse it. But if you looked at that number, you would think, Well, they're over. Well, they're not. It's just the way that modified accrual, governmental accounting, asks us to be very conservative. And I think I like that. I think it's a great position because that way you will never go over and you can never spend more than what you have. That's the whole thing of modified accrual. So if we look at our total expenditures, we're looking at 66% instead of 65. I think we're okay, especially with all the things that we have. So now I would like us to look at our investments. Okay, so here's the investment. So I think I'll take a little bit of time since this is your first time, and I know that you're really going to love this part. We have a very we have a very strong cash position. TCC, it does. We have a strong position, and I'm going to first talk about our investment pools. So investment pools mean that you can turn this into cash in 1 hour, right? You go in there and you say, I have an investments pool, I want to turn it. But if you look at what you're getting is a 0.5 interest, that's not a lot, but it is better than having liquid money into the bank. So if we look at our beginning balance was $124 million, we went ahead and added $16 million, and we have an ending balance in our pools of $140 million. Now, there's another thing that we are trying on, which is a short-term investment. So short-term investments are going from 30 to 120 days. They will give you a little bit better rate than the pool, but not as a good rate, not as high as rate as a security. So in this one, we had $30 million that matured, and then we went ahead and reinvested it in another $20 million. Okay? So that's on your short term. Now, if we look at our securities, we started off with $150 million. We had 2 of our $10 million securities, they were recalled. And so we see this in the market a lot, where the issuer will say, I want to recall it back because I think that I can get a better play or a better interest. That's just the way life is. I don't like it, but there's nothing I can do. So we as a market, have to live with that. So if you look at the total thing, you have an ending balance of our securities. We started with 150. We've got another 20, so we ended up with 130 million in security. Our total portfolio is $290 million in cash, and we have, if we look at our spread for 13 weeks is 49%, and our spread for 26 weeks is 42%. All right? Do you have any questions?
Why do we compare against the 13-week T-bill? Is that some kind of standard?
It is a standard that people want to see, can you do better than the regular T-bill? That's what a lot of people do is they buy T-bills because a T-bill is guaranteed by your government, and that's the most secure for you to have money out there. Another thing is for some organizations just want to move strips, strip being a piece of a T-bill, and that's just a standard. Mr. Greenhill, any other thoughts on, you're good? Okay, that's the standard that people in the United States will use a Treasury bill. If you're in Europe, they would use a different process or a different security but that's just been a standard to see how well are you doing to the most secure standard that there is. A T-bill would be zero risk, right?
Okay. How does this compare against the rate of inflation?
Well, that's a different story. That's apple and oranges. If we look at what we're trying to do is say, what's the interest in the market? So what the interest in the market is, what does the market offer you? Now, the rate of inflation that you have, that's how well you can do. Now, you also have to, if you were going to use that criteria would be different because we are a public institution. So by public institution, in your own policy, you've asked us to follow X. And so if we compare it to 3% against the interest that I'm losing money. There's nothing I can tell you. We're losing because our inflation rate is going to be higher or lower than what the interest rate is in the market. I would say that right now, I think some people are going to say that your inflation rate is at what, 2%, something like that. But other people would argue with that, especially after the drop of the cost of petroleum.
Our investment strategy is, although it reads like we're aggressively going to invest, still the main criteria we use is preservation of capital.
The public institutions have a policy that is set by their own trustees, but overall, yes, you do not want to be in a situation where you would lose your capital. zero risk.
For
Yes,
the
sir.
avoidance of doubt, we are going to be reviewing this, as you know.
Yes, sir.
We're going to engage a financial advisor to help us out in connection with pooling and so forth and so on. So, yeah, Ms. Ayala, we are going to be, we have a finance committee that the president will appoint, but we are going to engage a financial advisor. We've given the Chancellor the authority to do that, to help us analyze this in a more systematic way, and I think it'll help. I think it'll help you. It'll make us, because you've said that we make the policy, and by
Absolutely.
golly, we're going to make that policy, and we're going to review it, and the strategy as well, because we've been
Yes, sir.
we have not done that on a regular basis, I don't believe, but anyway. That's, thank you.
Yeah, and
Yes,
I
sir.
think, like you said, we're losing money. We're losing buying power. We have a dollar bill is nothing more than a piece of paper. It only means something when you buy something with it in terms of goods and services. So if we're losing, by definition, 2% a year against inflation, then we're not preserving our capital because we've lost our buying power. We lost what we can purchase in terms of goods and services with that same amount of pieces of paper. And that's, I think, why we're looking at an investment advisor to see if there's some way, given the restrictions that we have from the
Yes, sir.
state and given our board
Absolutely.
policies, if there's something we can do to change that so we can at least meet inflation, to maintain the buying power that we presently have. Because right now, at $300,000, if we're losing 2% a year, that's $6 million a year in purchasing power that we're losing every year. So that's why we're looking at an investment advisor, to see if there's anything we can do within the restrictions we have.
I welcome that, Mr. Heaton, but I don't want for the district to think that we're losing all of our power, because while, may I offer you another thought, sir? While the control of cash is losing, your real estate is also appreciating. So as a district, if I look at my whole pool, I look at my whole basket, I'm thinking about how much is TCC doing as an organization. I mean, we are, on some places you will, and I know that we are, but on other places, we are appreciating, just because we know
I understand that. That's apples and oranges, though.
All right, sir, yeah,
I mean,
fair enough,
we're in good financial position. I'm
Yes,
not
sir.
disagreeing with that, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
doing a good job considering the restrictions we have. Nobody's questioning that.
Yes, sir.
It's just, can we do something different, or can we change something that will at least allow us to keep up with inflation?
We look forward to hearing to the committee, and we will follow exactly all the dictates of it, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Any other questions or comments of Mr. McClendon? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chancellor?
Madam President and board members, my report is going to be very short this evening. Again, Mrs. Ayala, we are so pleased to have you join our board. It's always good to have somebody come in who can snip at our heels and make sure that we're walking as fast as we ought to walk, and we're covering all the ground that we need to cover. So we appreciate you. We have no new staff introductions tonight. Sorry that I don't have anybody to put up there in front of you and say we're recycling, or we have somebody new. We recycle. I call them, Ms. Ayala, recycling, when we promote people from within. And we have a lot of that, but we don't have anyone tonight. I just want to call your attention to and by the way, the campus accolades were done for the whole district tonight with Dr. LeBlanc and Dr. Coppola, and those beautiful students that we had with all their great accomplishments. They certainly can be considered representative of the wonderful things that we do with our students here at Tarrant County College. I want to call your attention to the first thing, my meeting with Dr. Vistop Kabari, who is the president of University of Texas at Arlington. He and I are both very, very excited about a partnership in which we can engage to help our students do a very seamless transition from an associate degree at Tarrant County College to a baccalaureate degree from the University of Texas at Arlington. He and his staff have proposed to rent some space from us at our Trinity River campus, and some of the space that's being vacated, that has been vacated by Radio Shack. They have indeed given us back one of the towers there on the campus, and we're very excited about getting that. Some of that space will be occupied by TCC Connect. A part of the budget that's in Ms. Petty's line item includes getting space ready for TCC Connect to move there. What Dr. Kabari wants to do with us is select several major fields of study and have us help them recruit students when they first come to us, those who are interested, say, in an engineering program. We would recruit them into an engineering program at Tarrant County College with the full understanding that when they graduate from us, they'll just move directly into the four-year engineering program at the University of Texas at Arlington. We propose having our faculties work very closely together and make sure that the curriculum that we have designed at TCC for an engineering student matches with the needs that that student would have after going to the University of Texas at Arlington, and perhaps that we would even switch out our faculty in teaching. Maybe they would teach some of our courses and our faculty would teach some of their courses, and we even teach some things. We talked about a lot of things. Dr. Fulkerson, Dr. Joy Gates Black, Ms. Nina Petty, and Angela Robinson accompanied me on our meeting, and Dr. Kabari brought his provost, his CFO, and his Director of Strategic Initiatives, I believe is her title. So we're very, very excited about that possibility. He wants to get it started just as soon as possible. So we're hoping that we can get something off the ground. If we can work some things out and I bring it to the board for approval, that we can get something started in the spring of 2016 for our students. He had identified 5 or 6 areas in which he's interested in having students get degrees. And I suggested several others. For instance, our teacher education program is one that I think we should cooperate with them on, and reminded him that we are so short of teachers, especially bilingual education and ESL. And those are the 2 concentration areas for our teacher education program. That's on South Campus and Northeast Campus. And so I had just spoken with Dr. Peter Jordan, who's president of the South Campus, just a couple of days before our meeting with Dr. Kabari, to ask him what it would take for him and Dr. Gobin to get together and expand that program, the teacher education program, because we also need to be training math teachers and science teachers and some of the others. So they're looking into that. We had several other areas, and Tahita, if you could help me remember what another 1 or 2 of those areas were. You had one that you threw out too, I believe.
Well, they had looked at business.
Business, yes, is another one. But I guess the thing that excited us more than anything else was the fact that he wanted us to concentrate on helping him get students in that program who would not normally expect that they could ever get a baccalaureate degree, even after they come to us. So he said to me, you probably know that 65% of all the students who transfer to UTA every year from all over, 65% of them come from you. They come from Tarrant County College. And I really had not heard that number. I didn't realize that it was that large, but it is. And he said, so we don't have any difficulty attracting those students. That's fine. We can still keep doing well. We want you to help us with those other students, those lower income students who generally don't think about UTA at all. And that's the student we want to concentrate on. And of course, so many of our students who come to us today fall in that category. So that should be an easy thing for us to do. So y'all stay tuned for more information. I also told him about the memorandum of understanding we have with Texas Tech University that started last year, it started December of 2013. The program started January of 2014. They took, I believe, 13 of our students out of who had just graduated in December, just finished all their work in December, took 13 of those students out of our teacher ed program, gave them all some kind of scholarship, put them in a one-year program that they have to let them earn their bachelor's degree in ESL or the other program that I just talked about, English as a second language or bilingual education. The students, and he promised the students, they promised the students, you do really well this first semester, which is going to be spring of 2014. You do really well in that first semester, and then we'll give you more money, because the goal was to keep the students in the program full-time. They had to go full-time in order to do that. We also collaborated with Fort Worth Independent School District, and they had given us, I believe, 3 schools for these students. The principals had all agreed to place our students with master teachers in those schools. Our students went to their schools 3 days a week that first semester, and then they took some classes online. The summer, they went full-time at Texas Tech online, and then the fall, they went 5 days a week under those master teachers. They graduated in December of 2014. Fort Worth ISD had offered them jobs. If you graduate from this program, when you get finished, we'll have a job waiting for you. So it's an absolutely great win-win-win for everybody. So I challenged Dr. Kabari to match that. You know, let's offer our students some really good not tuition, but scholarships to get them through. So that one we're really, really excited about, and I'll get you more information as it goes along. Any questions on that?
Since 65% of our students, the UTA students come from us.
Transfer,
that's what I'm saying. I know we have the data, but how well do they do? I mean, you know, all of the things that we measure.
Interestingly, Dr. Kabari volunteered that.
Good.
I already knew. But he volunteered. He said, you know, I've looked at the data, and I looked at it from every direction. And he didn't say that when he first heard it, he didn't believe it, but he kind of intimated. So he said, I kind of verified. He said, but what I've learned is that at the end of their junior year, your students are at the same place or a little bit higher than our students at the end of their junior year, the ones who started with them. But that's across the board at universities across the state. Our students who graduate from here and go on to the universities tend to do just as well or better than those who started as freshmen. So we absolutely are putting out a quality program, absolutely. So for anybody who worries about the quality and the rigor that we are providing for our students, all they have to do is look at that and see that we're doing really well with them.
And raise our tuition rates.
And our faculty salaries.
Well, it's interesting. Well, that's one of the things raising tuition rate would help you do, is raise the salaries. It's also interesting to note that our students who are involved in all of these memorandum of understanding deals do so well. Another great example is Texas Wesleyan. About 50% of their transfer students come from Tarrant County College. But we entered into a memorandum of understanding with them, I guess about 18 months ago now, where they agreed to take our students who graduated. And we always say graduate because it's easy for a student to get all anxious and be that close to graduation and leave us. Well, we don't get credit for them at that point. we get credit for the number of hours they've taken, but if they graduate, we get extra credit. So we want to keep them here to graduate. So if a student graduates from Tarrant County College and goes to Texas Wesleyan and is eligible for financial aid, Wesleyan will take them for whatever financial aid is paid to them and will not ask them to pay the remainder of the tuition. So it's a really great deal for our students. So we are constantly looking for ways to help our students, and our faculty, staff, and especially our campus presidents are right there involved with them and help them reach those goals. The other thing I wanted to tell you about, Mrs. Appleman and I attended I guess you would call it a celebration. We didn't cut a ribbon, we just celebrated and ate. We had refreshments at Dr. Fulkerson's campus a couple of weeks ago. Secretary Pete Garrett, I still call him that in formal places, he's ex-secretary of the Army, as you know, works for the Sid Richardson Foundation now. He's their president and CEO. And he really, really appreciates Tarrant County College. And Sid Richardson has been very good to us over the years. And he gave us money from the Sid Richardson Foundation to buy a second anatomage table for our students in the early college high school. And we were there to dedicate that. That was a big celebration for those students in that TABS program, the Texas Academy of Biomedical Sciences program at Trinity River campus. We were very proud of them. And how many of those students graduated? 7 of them graduated from TCC last May, and I think I told you Eva LeBlanc's group had 40 students, I believe, graduated from her early college high school. So that's just great. The other thing I'll tell you is that I met with representatives from the University of North Texas, from their program in logistics. You may know that we opened a new Center of Excellence in Transportation, Aviation, and Logistics at Alliance Airport that's connected with the Northwest campus. And UNT has wanted to have space in our facility since before we opened it. They have always expressed a great interest. We had a very good meeting a couple of weeks ago with the person who is responsible for that program. And I'm excited about our possibility of working with them to provide some space for them to have a laboratory and some faculty office space, but they've agreed to share office space with us for whatever, and the only dedicated space they would need would be for their lab. And of course, that again would be a very good opportunity for our students who are graduating from our Northwest campus program in logistics and moving right into the University of North Texas program. The logistics people will tell you that they are interested in employees at all levels. They want those with the associate degree. They need some with baccalaureate degrees. They need some with masters. They need some with doctorates. So UNT has the baccalaureate programs, the master's program, and I think they have the doctorate already, the doctorate program. So that again would be another great opportunity for our students to stay right there on that campus center and get their baccalaureate degrees. So those were the highlights that I wanted to mention to you tonight. Any questions for me? Anybody? Okay. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Greenhill, you represented us at the Bowling Math Academy.
I attended the Bowling Math Competitions Award on April 23rd at the Trinity campus. The competition, it consists of 2 rounds of comprehensive testing, 1 round in the fall and 1 round in the spring, of college-level algebra, trigonometry, geometry, and analytical geometry. And the TCC team of student participants always does well in this competition, and this year was no different. The 2015 team placed as follows: second among the teams from the state of Texas, second among the teams in the 4 state Southwest region, that's Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Arizona, and 19th out of the 190 colleges teams representing 35 different states. Now, the important part, and this was a marvelous gathering of math students. I mean, it was truly very impressive. Cash awards totaling $5,000 were presented to students whose test scores represented among all the TCC competitors the highest scores in the fall round and the spring round, and the top overall scores. TCC Foundation found $1,000 scholarships were presented to five first-year competitors with the highest individual combined scores. Thank you for the foundation for doing that. University scholarships amounting, listen to this, $350,000 were presented to competitors ready to transfer to four-year institution. The top scholarship was from TCU for $121,000 and went to a TCC student, Thien Dawn. Congratulations to her. Other partnering universities this year's winners, and this is very important, were Dallas Baptist University, Texas Wesleyan University, and Texas Woman's University, and their representatives were there as well. And that's my report.
Thank you. Our Achieving the Dream coaches were here last month, and as usual, our faculty outdid themselves, pressing them and me. And I shared with you, and I'll get you a copy, Miss Ayala, I call it the white paper that emerged as a result of that day and a half meeting. It had been prepared before. It did not take that day and a half. But anyway, we have much to be proud of, and we are considered a leader college, which means we're one of the top colleges in the country to be part of this program, and I'll tell you more about it. We'll have coffee one day. As we mentioned earlier, the Chancellor and I were out on Southeast Campus today with the Early College High School and the laying of the time capsule. Lots of enthusiasm. They introduced all of their teachers, and each teacher got this hooray. And I turned to the Chancellor and I said, "Did you ever cheer a math teacher like that?" I've never heard such enthusiasm and excitement, and I know we're going to hear and see good things about those students. The TCC Leadership Institute graduation, I was happy to attend that and heard many of the presentations of the group who participates. That's faculty and staff from all over the district, and they go through this Leadership Development Institute that Ms. Robinson and several others manage and present. And they are so grateful for that opportunity that they sent me as their representative. If you'll open up your drawers here in front of you, I was on this board for several years before I realized we had a drawer. But inside is the book that they used as their guide. And Miss Ayala, you and I were behind. You should have a cookie, because they gave me one package of Girl Scout thank you cookies, and so I had to divvy them up amongst you. So that's your treat for the evening. And they send their thanks. I don't know what that is. Put that back. I think that's a microfiber cleaning cloth. But they send their profound thanks for the opportunity to participate in that institute. They are really grateful, and many of them go on to leadership roles in their fields. We want to congratulate Dr. Morrison, who last week received her MBA at Texas Women's University. A PhD wasn't quite enough. And to our friend and colleague Kristen Vandergriff, who has been named District Director for Congresswoman Kay Granger's office. Yeah. All right. Any other comments or announcements? Or if not, we are going to go into a closed meeting, and we do anticipate some action, but you can watch us on TV if you like. Deliberation of real property, Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code. Deliberation on personnel matters, Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, and consultation with attorneys, Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. And our next meeting is June 18th. We are adjourned. All right, I will call the meeting to order. Where is Miss Ayala? There she is. And we have a motion by our new trustee, her first official duty.
My first official duty. Let me turn on my, can I just say it loudly?
In the
Okay.
mic. Does she have to go to the mic?
Do I have to go to the mic?
Yes, please, because they're recording.
That yours?
Right, Robert, we're back on. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
I authorize the Chancellor to purchase the property located at 1501, 1502, and 1503 West Hurst Boulevard, Hurst, Texas, 76053, under the terms set forth in the commercial contract between LJJL Enterprises and Tarrant County College District.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last item of business, take a white